What's up, everybody in the house tonight? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody in the house tonight? What's up? What's up? Yeah.
Look at that. Right on time.
8 o'clock.
Fuck yeah. Welcome. Garrett and Steve show. Right on time.
I think
it's a whole new Steve.
The actual first time we've ever started the show at 8 o'clock on the dot.
Except the first.
I don't even think the first time.
No?
I think even the first time it was like 8:01.
Yeah, probably. Definitely the first show we were like figuring shit out. Like, what do we do?
Oh, fuck. I think, yeah, all we said was fuck a few times over and over.
Into our Chinese microphones.
That didn't pick anything up. Yeah, I think this is the first time the intro was playing at exactly 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
What an accomplishment. What an
You're
achievement.
welcome, everyone.
Holy shit. A couple of rocket scientist brain surgeons. Joey Dago texted me, "You guys okay?"
Now, there is a little caveat. We didn't do bonus coverage because we wanted to be right on time.
Well, yeah, there's going to be...
That always fucks us over.
Yes. But we figured today, since we have a very special guest on, who's very far away in another time zone, we should start right on time to hopefully keep him on for as long as we can.
Yeah. Or get rid of him as soon as possible.
Or as soon as possible, we go fucking dump his ass. Whichever works for us. But yeah, first of all, completely uncomfortable. I hate this. We should be another 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
We should turn this off and come back in 10 minutes.
Looking at the clock, we're only 2 minutes in. It should be like 8:15.
It's completely unnatural.
2 minutes.
What we should be doing is going, oh shit, we got to stop watching this video of a black guy farting and get to the show. That's what we should be doing right now. I shouldn't have been here at 7:55 just like,
What are we doing?
What do we do now?
We're just sitting around. We know what to do with ourselves.
I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to get something done that it's already late. Now what? Well, we're already late to our guest because, like I said, he's very, very far away. So we want to accommodate his time. You might know him from some of the videos we've shown on this show. And this one we're about to show. Here's his intro. Our Indian correspondent, Guy Markham, is joining us today. It's Apocalypse Cow.
Fucking you, bloody bastard, bitch, you.
Delhi. Shit. I'm only in Delhi.
Here he is.
That,
hey boys, how you doing?
What's up, Guy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm very happy to be back in my homeland. I do not like cities. London has never looked so good.
well, why? You were just in beautiful, fragrant India.
Yeah.
In paradise, where people go for spiritual enlightenment on all these journeys to see beautiful mountains that are all covered in shit. And I just want to say right at the start of the show, for anyone who I met in India who's watching me, Gino and Yasmin, who I was working for, Niraj, great guy who I made friends with, loads of other people. I did at points have a really good time. I met some wonderful people I'll be definitely staying friends with. I saw some amazing things. I fucking hate that country. It's the worst. Like, I really love traveling and I love experiencing other cultures. I think travel is a great thing for anyone to do. And I feel bad saying this, but India is the worst country I've ever been to.
Wow. Like, is it even close?
No, everywhere else has been really nice. And look, maybe I need to see more of the world. But I have lived in Thailand, Slovenia, Denmark, Germany, and of course England, where I'm from. And like, it's so hard because every other country that I've been to has had something that I want to bring back. You see something there that's like, oh, we should do that. That's really cool. Like Slovenia has this really cool policy where any river that starts in Slovenia, you have to be able to drink the water that comes from that river. They also don't tax domestic alcohol. Sorry. So if you buy a Slovene beer in a bar, it's like €2. If you buy a Heineken, it's like €6. They support the local economy by doing shit like that.
That's nice.
In 3 months in India, and at no point did I ever look around and go, we should do that. That's a good idea. Yeah, man, it's crazy. And I want to say a big thank you to you guys as well, because honestly, like, being able to make videos to send to you actually really helped me, because there were points where I was genuinely getting a bit depressed and upset by being there, and being able to filter it through the lens of trying to make a funny video for you guys, and then riding around listening to you guys watch my videos. Like, really, honestly, mate, I was riding through the desert when you were watching the video of me reviewing the toilets at the source of the Ganges, and I was just pissing myself laughing riding my bike.
Well, I'm glad that we had any impact on that trip whatsoever, because we were just amazed. Everything you sent, we were just like, oh my god, what is this bucket? Like, everything you sent, everything I've seen on Twitter and elsewhere leads me to believe it's like another planet, with how there's just no care for anything. The only motivation to do stuff seems to be whether it's to serve food off the ground or rape someone. Otherwise, there's no motivation to really do anything productive.
Yeah, man, it's really bad, because it's like the impression that the individual people who you meet give off is like this very spiritual, kind, caring attitude. And then you get on the road with them, and they don't. Life is so cheap there. They don't give a fuck. I sent you that video where they closed down half a highway, and they had they had a whole highway's worth of traffic on one side of the road with no segregation. So you're just riding into like 18-ton lorries. I'm on a motorbike, like, just coming towards you, and everyone's overtaking each other. Like, so they're going into each other all the time. It's mental. Like, I learned to ride bikes in Thailand. So when I landed there, Thailand's a bit crazy. So when I landed there, I was just like, oh, it'll be similar to Thailand. I can cope with this. It's next fucking level, man. It's like the lack of care. Like, people will barrel down on you, and there will be nothing in their eyes. It's a gormless look. They just, like, it's like they don't care if they hit you. And I think the truth is they don't. And it's almost sad in a kind of way, because life is that valueless there. And, because the majority of the country, like, their attitude to death is actually quite positive, because they think they're coming back to do it again. People don't really care about it, but that means nothing when you're living no matter what you believe. When you're living this life and someone plows into you when you're on a motorbike, it's gonna fucking hurt. And I quite like being alive.
There's also 5 billion people or whatever it is in that country.
I think it's
people gone just to get some space.
Yeah, man, and that is actually a big problem. The overpopulation there is one of the things that's causing the biggest problem. And like, you hear all this from people at the moment complaining about the 1%. Well, in India, it's the 1% of the 1% that have all the money, and they're all corrupt. And then there's a small emerging middle class. There are people genuinely trying to make the country better, and then everyone else is just getting fucked. Like, it's really, like, it's quite upsetting. But the problem that I think is most prevalent there, so Bob, who owns the workshop that I'm talking to you from at the moment, he's been out there as well, and he put it really well the other day. He said, every country he's been to, even ones that are not doing so well, people are trying to make it better. And India could make it better. It has the 7th fastest growing economy on the planet. They have a nuke and a space program, and yet most of the country doesn't have a proper toilet. Like, it's.
I feel like they like it that way, though. They prefer to have more nukes and spaceships and less toilets.
Genuinely, man, there's there was a story that's it's kind of being debunked, but the cultural side of it is true, that they would rather have smartphones than toilets, and that's not necessarily the case. But when you go out into the rural areas, I met tribal people that had smartphones, but their town didn't have a proper toilet. Like, and it's, you sort of think it's like, so if you've got access to the internet, you must know that people can live differently to how you're living. The other side of it as well, the trash there. I sent you, if you want to pull up one of the videos, I think I've just called it Pig River. And that's just a small example. I knew that I would see lots of trash. There was no part of me that thought, oh, there's probably some clean areas. I knew we'd see it. But yeah, just take a look at this. This is just a small town. And this is like just the river that goes through the town. And it's such a tiny example. And this is what you see everywhere. You know you're getting close to a city because there's a ring of garbage around every city. So I didn't get I've got another phone that has the footage, but there's a point where I'm standing about 10 miles away from a city, and I do a circle, and all you can see, it's like something out of a post-apocalyptic movie, is just trash. Because what happens is the rich people who live in the center where all the tourist stuff is pay for people to come and collect the trash, but the people who collect the trash don't throw it away in a proper like processing plant. They dump it in the next neighborhood, and then the people in that neighborhood pay poorer people to dump it in the next neighborhood. And so what happens is the trash just slowly spreads to the external end of the city. And it's like, yeah, there were points, because I said this to Jono, the guy who I was working for, who again, lovely guy, I can't complain. Someone paid for me to go and piss about in another country and just have fun. Like I will always be grateful for the opportunities that he's given me, and he was very supportive. But I said to him at one point, it's like, you're paying me to encourage people to come on your tours, and that means encouraging them to come to this country. And I'm honestly, like, I can't tell people that this country is good and that I think they will enjoy it. There's some amazing stuff to see, but you have to go through so much misery to get there.
I mean, this is incredible. This trash river. The pigs seem to like it, so that's a positive. Maybe that's
happy as a pig and shit.
Feeding the pigs. But did you talk to anybody about the trash and go like, "Hey guys, you know this? This doesn't just like magically disappear one day. You're all gonna just be covered in trash at some point. Like there's gonna be no square foot where you can walk that isn't just covered in fucking shit if you don't eventually just do something with it. You can't just pile it up somewhere and now it is done. No more trash."
Well, you would think so there's two big problems with that. One is like just the cultural attitude of out of sight, out of mind. As I say, they just pay people to push things away. The people I was working for, their neighbors, quite affluent. They were a doctor and a lawyer, I think. And they, instead of waiting for the trash truck, because they do have a couple of trash trucks in the more affluent areas, instead of waiting for the trash truck and handing it to, which was what I was doing when I was living there, they would just walk to the end of the wall at their garden. Their garden was immaculate. And then they would just throw a bag of trash across the road. So it's on the other side of the street. And it's like, these are educated people. And if you've had plastic in your country for 70 years or however long plastic's been around, and you haven't realized that the bottle that your granddad threw out is still on the other side of the fucking road, like, I'm sorry, but and the other big problem, like I said, the corruption is a big issue, because I spoke to a lot of people about this, and someone told me, it's like, yeah, they have tried to set up recycling plants and trash plants, and what they do is they try and incentivize people to bring rubbish there, because there's loads of people living in like slums outside of the main cities. Because I suggested this as an idea when I first got there. I was like, why isn't the government that has money just saying, look, if you bring X amount of, like, do it by weight or whatever, for a kilo of plastic, we'll give you 500 rupees, just bring it here, we'll sort it out. So they've tried that in a few places, and the people who run those places are really corrupt. And what they do is they take all the rubbish, run off with all the fucking money, and leave a big pile of rubbish there where everyone's dumped the rubbish. So you guys put it perfectly. You pointed out that the whole country is underpants gnomes. Like, there's no middle ground thought. Everyone is faking everything. That YouTuber that I sent you with his 100,000 followers or whatever, It's like he just runs a barbershop and he's clearly paid for a load of bot followers and has got a fake plaque just to go, look, I'm very successful on YouTube. But you're not. It doesn't do anything for you.
They seem to think like, you know, if you appear to be successful, it's the same thing as being successful.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, there has to be a point where you make money or something. There has to be like something that you do that makes stuff happen. You can't just play. Like you said, underpants gnomes, where it's like, 1, we gather socks. 2, we store them. 3, 4, profit. There's a lot of 3 in India. Well, if I buy a YouTube plaque, people think I'm famous, and then I'll be famous.
Yeah, and then profit. Yeah,
and then I'll be a millionaire.
You think if you just gave them the idea of a landfill, they'd be like, "Oh my God, what a great idea!"
But it seems like if you even have a great idea, everyone that you tell it to in India is going to just try to work out how to scam you out of making that idea work properly, and just trying to get the quickest profit as fast and as shittily as they can. Because why wouldn't people like? God, you visited. You're like, I live in a country where we don't have these problems as far as plumbing and garbage and whatever the fuck else. Why don't I just go there, open up a plumbing company? Why don't I go there, open up a garbage collection company, and I'll be the richest man in town? But I feel like what happens is you get there with those intentions and that you get robbed blind. People don't pay you. You fucking move all this trash that you don't get paid for it.
You're fucked.
And you're just like, well, I just spent a lot of money on nothing.
I'm really sorry, guys. I'm just going to step out and come back in.
Yeah,
sure,
please.
Do your thing. But yeah, it's a country that seems like built on quicksand.
I guess so. But it's weird how like all the smart people that we want to get into this country, most of them are from India. Like, where does that come from?
Again, they figured out. We watched a video the other day of a Indian guy trying to get his dog on a train.
Yes.
And he just yanks the dog. The dog's not listening. Dog's too afraid. The dog knows, like, hey, listen, I can't get on. The train's moving.
Because the guy's running next to a train, and between him and the train is the dog. Have the dog on the other side of you.
Yes.
Like, what are you thinking?
Pick him up and get him on the train.
And this is like a golden retriever.
Yeah.
A big kind of
one
dog.
of the worst videos I've ever seen. Because the guy, instead of just using his brain and figuring out a way to get on the train or miss the train and save the dog's life, he just keeps yanking the dog like, come on, get on train, get on train, go, get on train. And the dog inevitably falls in between the train and the tracks and fucking dies.
We don't know.
We assume that the dog did not live after it fell underneath the train. But it was a perfect illustration of this mindset of like, no, I just need this now. Go.
Immediate gratification or something.
I think the quickest way to get a job overseas is to be in one of the fields of tech where they look for these people and to import them. And so they're like, oh, American want H-1B visa for a guy who doing tech, doing coding. Do coding. They figure out a very quick, streamlined, like how to
one
do
specific skill.
One specific thing that they look for in these companies. They ship them over here and they're like, profit. It's like a skip over doing something like that in your country. It's just, you can come here, you can make way more money here just by knowing this one thing you got to do. Yeah. So they all learn JavaScript and shit.
I guess so.
But
they seem they're smart enough to learn how to do it. Like I feel like if you did that in some other poor country, the people wouldn't even be smart enough to handle it.
Adept at fucking figuring the quickest way to get the quickest money as fast as humanly possible without doing without making anything better. With just go in, grab, go, drag dog, put on train. Dog died. Anyway. Here he is.
Sorry about that, boys. Like I said, I've got some issues with my headphones. It shouldn't happen again. Just to pick up on what you were saying with like the way animals are treated there. So, like the amount of I love dogs, by the way. The amount of like dead dogs you just see at the side of the road. They don't view dogs the same way we do. And I had so many experiences there that were like really disheartening. As I say, it's like life is cheap. They look at dogs differently. But I've had people go, it's like, oh, you're looking at it from a Western mindset. It's unfair to judge. It's like, I think we do it better. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, I give a shit about my dog. And I give a shit. Like, I mean, I'm a meat eater, but I don't want to do any harm to a living animal. Like, oh fuck, I haven't told you about the cows. So obviously, cows, most holy creature in India. Yeah. So the first of all, you see them eating trash everywhere because they're all in the cities and all they can eat is trash. I've seen cows like chewing a shitty nappy up the side of the road. But it's so disgusting, man. But there's two types of begging that you can do with a cow. So if you go to a holy city, you'll see like a Baba all dressed up, and he'll have a cow that he's painted up to look special, and he'll come up to you shaking a pot, and he'll just go, "Oh, chapati for cow, chapati." I'm like, it's your cow, mate. You feed it. Like, it's like, this is a weird thing to try and do. And it's like, oh, good karma, good karma. It's like, well, if it's your cow, feed it. You're going to get good karma, mate. Yeah. But the next level of that is the tribal people grow these really lush fields of grass, and they build big walls around them and protect them so the cows can't come near it. And then what the women do is they chop up a load of fresh grass and they put it on a cart and they roll it into town, and they find a herd of cows and they stand next to the cows and they charge you 50 rupees for a handful of grass so you can feed the cow and get good karma. But if the cow comes close to the cart, they've got a big fucking stick that they hit the cow with. And it's like, if you're telling me that you're getting right on the spiritual level by feeding the cow, and you've got a thing full of grass and your life isn't that good, I've got a fucking idea for you, mate. Like, feed the fucking cow. Like,
I can't believe they would hit the cow. Like, I figured they would be such a holy animal that they wouldn't be allowed to. It's like
insta bad karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think, but again, like everything, it's all very surface level. I'm not going to say that I didn't meet some lovely spiritual people there. I think you saw that video of the two guys I was with in the mountains, and we found that small town. And like the elder of the village turned up over there. He's just short little pudgy guy, really nice dude. He just saw we're all fucking giant guys, like especially compared to out there. And he just saw us walking around his town, comes up to us and he's like, "Oh, hey, like what's going on? Where are you from?" It's like, "Oh, England, America." And he's like, "Oh, this is my village. Come hang out with us." We sat in his garden. His wife made us some lunch. We all just sat there and chilled. He was lovely, didn't ask for any money, which was another thing that kept on happening. You talk to someone for 5 minutes, think you're having a nice time, and the next thing you know, they're just asking you for cash. Like, I had an experience like, sorry, go on.
No, it's just every story is like, and then they just succumb to their baser instincts, and we're like, "Hey, can I get something from you? Can I have something?
Yeah.
Can I do something for like?"
There's always an ulterior motive.
And it's
maybe at first, but maybe they realize, like, even in the moment, like, "Oh, I can ask him for something, and he might give me. I might get something out of him." And it's like, I guess there's like 1.6 billion people surrounding you. You don't care if you offend somebody by asking for something, because you're going to see 100,000 people on your walk home.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, whatever.
Whatever.
I can disappoint.
If it works once.
Yeah, if I get one thing today, I fucking succeeded.
Yeah, there's no tact to it as well. They just will roll right up on you, and the concept of like personal space and privacy doesn't exist there. I got walked in on at one point in a hotel room. We'd been on the bikes all day, fucking exhausted. Checked into this hotel, went to go and have a shower, and there was a knock on my door, and I'd already taken my clothes off at this point. Now, usually in every hotel I stayed in, because some of the areas were a bit sketchy, I'd bolt it as well. And this one, I'd just got in, so I hadn't bolted the door. So there's a knock on the door, and I like yell out from the shower. It's like, "I've not got any clothes on, buddy." And like he knocks again, so I go to the door so I can like pull it ajar and be like, "I'm just naked at the moment, mate. Can you come back in 5 minutes?" And I just came out from the shower, and the dude's just standing there in my room, and I'm completely naked. And he just kind of like, he hardly reacted. He just kind of went, "Oh," and fortunately he was holding a towel. So I just walked up to him and was like, "Just what I needed. Thank you, buddy." And he just walked off. But yeah, it's so and I get it. You know, a lot of them live communally, so like a family will share a bed. Like a family of like 3 generations will live in 1 or 2 beds together. There's no sense of privacy. So I get that that's not necessarily expected out there, but it's a really weird concept to get your head around. But the story I was going to tell you about people asking for money is I went stopped at a chai stand one day to get some tea, and it was just in the morning. I was on my own, like had a cup of chai, and I just got talking to the locals, which I usually do. And this guy who I was chatting to turns around to me when I get up to leave, and he just goes to shake my hand. And as he shakes my hand, he grips really hard and pulls me into him. And he goes, "Give me 200 rupees." I just looked at him, like, I'm a big fucking dude. I can squeeze someone's hand. So I just squeezed back and I went, "Why?" And he went, "Because we are friends. It's a gift." And I was like, no. That's very rude. You're going to let go of my hand now. He goes, "Oh, go on. And I was like, no, mate." And so I pulled his hand off my hand. I was like, "You stop talking to me now. You're being very rude." I went and paid for my tea. And the kid who was running the chai stand was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I was like, "It's okay." I walked to my bike, and as I started getting my kit on and loading up the bike, I put my keys in the ignition. This guy follows me, comes up to my bike, and goes, "Stay." And I was like, "No, mate, you need to go away. Leave me alone now." And he takes the keys out of my ignition and goes to hold them. He goes, "No, stay. No problem. I was like, "You don't touch my fucking keys." So I grabbed his arm and held his arm up, took my keys back, and I was like, "You need to go away now, or this is going to end badly for you." He was like, no, friendly. I was like, "You're not being fucking friendly, mate. You're trying to take my bike keys. Fuck off." And the kid running the chai stand just came running over, grabbed this dude, and starts pulling him away. It's like, "Sorry, sir, sorry." But yeah, man, it's just like you're in a constant heightened state because everyone's always trying to get something out of you.
But they have the fucking tact of a toddler.
Yeah,
like, he obviously saw you as like this big piggy bank walking around. He's like, "This man have money. How do I get?"
Yeah.
He grabs your hand and just goes, "Give me 200 rupees." And then genuinely you're probably like, "Fuck, I can't believe that didn't work." Let me take his keys out of his bike, make him stay, then he'll pay me for the keys. Was he even holding the keys hostage? Was that the idea? Like,
no, he wasn't like holding them behind his back, but he took my keys. I mean, my background's in private security. I react pretty quickly to dodgy situations. And like, so as soon as he got like an elbow's length away from my bike, I had his wrist. But yeah, it was fucking mental, man. Like, I know the fact as well that he was like half my size, like just the confidence he had to go, "Maybe this will work." Like, and that's the other thing as well, is like the way that they approach people when they want something. Like if you have a taxi driver in New York or London and you walk past them at night and they go, "Taxi?" and you go, "No, I'm all right." They're like, "All right, fair enough. He doesn't need a taxi." In India, it's like, "I clearly didn't ask hard enough. I must carry on." And they'll follow you down the street just going, "Where do you want to go?" "I'll take you away." It's like, "Mate, I'm just going into that shop." But after that, I'd take you somewhere. Where do you? It's like, I know where I'm going. I'm comfortable. If I need a taxi, I'll fucking ask. It's fine.
Yeah, I noticed by the progression of the videos you sent in. Like at first it was like, "Oh, here's a group of people just accosting me," and then by like the fourth or fifth one, it was like, "Here we go again. This is another fucking people," and it's like, God, I just want to get on my bike and leave, but no, I have to play this game where everyone's so cool, and yay, look at this, and oh wow, what are you doing?
Was that literally every time you stopped and got
everywhere? Like without fail, and it got to the point where I just expected it, and it was so strange because when I first arrived, I went to Delhi. I had this guide, a guy called Yogi, who was showing me around for the day. Fucking wicked dude. When I got there, he said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to go sightseeing or whatever?" I said, "No, let's just go somewhere nice for food. I want to get to know you. I just want to ask a few questions about India, so I feel a bit more comfortable here because I've never been here before. And then we'll go for a walk in a park or something." He said, "Yeah, let's do that." Went out, had a lovely lunch, and went for a walk in one of the main parks near the palace. And we approached a thing called India Gate, which is a war memorial. And we got up to the memorial, and Yogi turned around to me and he went, "Oh, there might be tourists here, but domestic tourists, Indian tourists." He said, they'll be from villages and stuff. They might not have seen white people before. So some people might ask for photos. We started a fucking crowd crush. It was like a mob. Because, I mean, they're interested in seeing white people anyway, but I'm 6'3". I've got a silly haircut, tattoo on the side of my head, all the rest of it. Everyone thinks I'm in the WWE. They all just fucking come running over. And everyone, they don't just want, they want a photo on their phone of you and them, and then they want a group photo that's on all of their phones. And like the first time, like for the first couple of minutes, I was like, this is kind of fun, you know.
Then more people asked them. We ended up, give me a second. I'm just going to have to switch my audio.
Yeah, no, you actually sound good like that. Either way. I think his headphones, though. His headphones probably cut out so he couldn't hear us. Yeah, that's so fucking funny that he's basically a huge celebrity when he goes over to a crowd of people there.
Yeah.
Just because he's a big white guy.
That's it.
Like, that's wild.
I can't believe, like, they haven't seen any white people. It's like...
Well, do you want to fucking go there?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't see anyone there because nobody wants to go. These are the stories that people who do go bring back, where it's like everything smelled bad, everyone smelled bad, and it was the most annoying trip I've ever been on in my life.
But I would figure, like, they get American or British entertainment. You see white people on, maybe they don't have TV. So, yeah, maybe that's that
I'm sure there's a good amount of TVs, but there he is.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Is the audio okay now? I've dumped the headphones.
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Sorry about that. But yeah, to go back to what I was saying, like this crowd just came in and we were getting mobbed, and Yogi's yelling at me the whole time, like, with no shame about it. He's just going, cover your pockets, sir. Make sure your pockets are covered. So there's all these photos, because he took photos as well of me with all these Indian guys around me, sort of going like that and making sure it all covered the whole time. And then it just didn't stop. Just more and more people kept on coming. So I just turned around to him. I was like, mate, we need to get out of here. And he just goes, use your size, sir. Use your size. So I literally swam through this crowd of Indians. And it's like, no photos, no photos. And Yogi's marching in front of me. No, we are done, sir. And we pushed our way through the crowd, got to the edge, and these three young boys like ran after us and like started speaking in Hindi to Yogi and like pleaded their case. And they're like, we're from a very small village. We've never seen a man who looks like him before, sir. We must have a selfie. And like I say, that was day one. By day 20, I was really fucking done with that shit. And it's how I imagine it's like to be like ridiculously famous, like can't leave your house famous.
Yeah.
But without the actual reason of people knowing you for anything. Like when I go to a motorbike event, because that's the main thing that I'm known for, people come up and say hello, and they sometimes want a photo, and that's great because like they're the reason that I get to do cool shit. They're the people who watch my videos. There's a proper interaction with it, and they want a photo because you know they like my stuff. They're a fan. That's wicked. I love that. It's literally just white guy, and like that's it.
That's the thing. I think when you're like a celebrity or whatever, you have people come up to you, they want a picture, and they'll like compliment you because they've seen you in a movie, a fucking thing, or whatever. And there's like it like strokes your ego, like, oh, they like my work. These people are just coming up to you going, oh, fucking white, you're fucking white, this is so cool, which is a compliment, but at the same time, you're just like, what am I? Like, I'm a token thing for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, like, what did they say to you was there any sort of complimentary thing, or was it just like, oh, you're white?
They usually say, oh, you look so cool, sir. Or they like this one as well. They say, you have very good personality. And I'm like, you don't even know me yet. I could be but yeah, and like every now and then, like, I didn't mind it. Like when little kids asked, every now and then we'd be somewhere and someone with a child would ask me, like, hey, my son wants a photo with you. No problem. They're a kid. They don't necessarily have the same social constructs. But I'd be sitting eating with someone and having a conversation, and someone would just come up and sit next to you, photo sir, like put their arm around you and try and take photos. Like, I'm in the middle of a fucking conversation and a meal. And there's no concept of invading your personal space. Yeah, as I say, I just got so done with it. I got to the point where, and you know, like I say, my background's in private security. I always say to people, I was good at that job because I'm really good at not fighting. I'm a pretty peaceful person. I can get through most of the bad situations I've been in my life. I've got through by talking through them. Number one, there's a language barrier out there. And number two, they're so persistent. And one of my Indian friends did actually say to me, it's like, you need to be what you would consider rude. Like, it's just being stern here, but what you would consider rude, that's what you need to do. So I started physically moving people. I'd be walking through the street and I'd get people crowding me, and I'd just grab their shoulders and just move them to one side and keep going, because it was the only way to get down the street.
But they also, like, did they not get offended by that though? Like, they were just assuming that would be the way you'd handle it.
I don't think so. I think they just don't understand that what they're doing is annoying. And in some ways, I get that they don't understand that they're the 100th person that's done that day. True. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I was there 3 months. I must have taken 1,000 selfies with people. It was just so long.
I love about those 1,000 selfies. Who are they showing them to? And what are they saying? Like, I got, a guy takes a picture with you and then brings it home to his wife, like, look, white man. Look, I saw a white man today. Look.
It's funny you say that.
He's like,
so I stopped telling people the reason I was there because of my Instagram presence and promoting the motorcycle tours. I just said I work for a motorcycle company, because if I told them about my Instagram, the next question was collaborate, sir, collaborate, do a photo post with me, collaboration. And it's just like, I'm not being funny, mate, but like, I want to promote you guys. I'd obviously do a collaboration post for you. But it's like, you're a dude who I've met at the side of the road who just wants a selfie. And if I gave them my Instagram handle, I would then they'd tag me in all the pictures, and it would be like, best friend from England, Guy Markham. And it would just be like, there's a video that someone tagged me in, one of these guys who I met. It was from that one at the side of the road where I got everyone chanting. And he tagged me, and it literally says, my best friend from England. But it's a video of me telling him I need to go and he needs to stop talking to me now. But his friend's videoing it, and there's no audio, and he's just put Indian music in the background, and it's just me going, and it's like, best friend from England. And I get constant fucking DMs from random Indians who I met who have my Instagram now. It's, sir, please reply, sir. Collaboration, sir. Sir, do post. Sir, promote my business. And it's just like, I'm sorry, but like, number one, like, I talk about motorbikes and I do vague comedy shit. Like, I don't see what I can do for you.
Again, they don't care. They just like, oh, look, Instagram. I'm famous now. You collaborate with me. I'm now famous. I'm rich. Without like, well, how does that work? No, it worked. It worked. It worked. You just do.
Can you search Instagram for @mentions? So that is there any way to bring up just these random pictures that people selfies?
Oh, actually, I think I might have it somewhere. So when you were watching one of my videos, because now a lot of people in India know who Gino Visconti is now, and there's one guy who tagged me in a video. He met me. I did a talk at a biker event, and they didn't understand necessarily what it was about, but he made a video about the event, and then just randomly in the last 30 seconds, there's a thing of him with me going, and I met Mr. Guy Markham, amazing biker, and Gino is gay. And he just says it in his own videos. I'll find the link quickly and send it to you. But yeah, that was another thing that would just made it so much more fun, was being able to just have this stupid thing of a random New York comedian who none of them have ever heard of, and having them all chant that he's gay.
I really hope it catches on. I hope that you've planted the seed and people see these videos, and Indian people, like, they don't know why they're saying it, but they're just like, oh, it's how you end a video on Instagram. You just go, Gino is gay. And like,
forms the country.
1 billion people are all posting on Instagram and ending all their videos with, and Gino is gay.
The guy who did the video, he even came up to me because I'd said on stage, it's like, I'd like some of you to be in a video. If you want to come and talk to me afterwards, I just want you to call my friend Gino gay on the video. And he came up after me and said to me, he's like, I'll do this for you, but you have to say this for me. And he taught me how to call his friend an idiot in Hindi. So the video opens with me calling his friend an idiot. I've just sent it to you on WhatsApp now, Steve. Like I say, I think it's about a minute long. It'll give you a rough idea of some of the things I was doing there. But and this guy was a really nice guy. Genuinely enjoyed talking to this dude. He got the joke.
Now, when you tell them to say Gino is gay, they kind of seem to understand English at least a little. Do they know what they're saying?
Yeah, so English, because India was obviously under control of the empire and the East India Trading Company for a long time. English is actually the unifying language of India. So there's about 7 primary languages in different areas, because India is a massive country. So there's like Bengali, Tamil, Hindi. I'm blanking on the other ones, but and then all of those languages have like sub-dialects for certain areas. So a lot of Indians from different areas will speak bad English to each other. That's where that video, fuck you, bloody, fuck you, banter, bloody, that is 2 Indian guys talking bad English to each other in England. So they would understand. And I'd often say to them, I probably have, I think I got you guys some stuff that I didn't send you, which was me explaining how to say Gino is gay to people. So most of the time I just say, oh, he's a New York comedian, very, very famous, very famous. You'll be in a video with this guy. Just say Gino is gay. And yeah, that's it always worked.
So really they did it just because they thought they were going to become famous from it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because
pretty much. Although I'm pretty sure Gino must have a few Indian followers on Instagram now. So Niraj, my buddy, the really well-spoken guy who was at the tea stand with me, he's actually become a very good friend of mine. I love him. He got the joke, and he would tell other people to do this. And he watched your show as well, and I was like, look, they rag on India a bit, but like we're just trying to be funny. And he was so happy when he saw himself come up in the video. He's like, that's hilarious, because he says it. You guys burst out laughing. He's like, cool, I've done something funny.
All right, here we go.
I have the video, the Instagram video. Let's check that out real quick. Oh wow, what a mustache on this guy.
Yeah, he had a strong tash game.
He's like a hipster Indian.
Yeah.
For Akash, let's go. Akash, Budua.
Hello. Ever wondered what it's like to ride bike across India? I just attended an epic event in Udaipur, Motorcycle as Medicine. इस event में international riders shared their crazy experience of traveling on Indian roads and how they engaged with locals. Meet Jonathan and
These are the guys I worked for.
They've explored around India. They shared their exciting experience of traveling on bike, how biking makes their life so adventurous. Such a sweet couple. Currently, they're settled in Udaipur and living their best life. Then I met Markham.
It's often worth going places that are a little bit risky.
The craziest of all, who love making videos about travel life and make people say on video, Gina is gay. Mast insaan hai. Or ऐसे ही I met a lot more riders from Udaipur. I had chit chat with them, exchange contacts.
Hold on, before we get to the end, I have to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah, you did, and it even comes up in the subtitles.
Gina is gay. Mast insaan hai. Or ऐसे ही I met a lot more riders from Udaipur. I had chit chat with them, exchange contacts, joined their club. It was a fun night with riders, and not to forget goodies at the end. This was my first such meetup in Udaipur. Hoping to have a lot more in
Yeah, that dude was genuinely lovely. That event was really weird because I was invited to be there as a speaker, as an international motorcyclist. It was put together by the people I was working for. But the people who turned up didn't necessarily understand what the event was. Half the people turned up thinking it was what it was, which was a talk about biking and traveling and the positive mental health benefits of motorcycling. And there was also a band booked, a music performer, and half the people thought they turned up for him and had no idea why a bunch of white people were getting on stage and speaking in English and telling stories about motorbikes. And I was booked as the last person to go on because Johnny was like, oh, you've done stand-up before, you sort of headline and you'll do your speech. And he got these other people up who told travel stories. And it was perfectly nice, but they weren't necessarily used to public speaking. And by the time I got on stage, they'd lost half the crowd because they'd started serving food. So people were up and down moving. And like 70% of the crowd were all just having their own conversations in Hindi with each other. So I got on stage to just a whole audience that weren't engaged at all. So I started saying things like, all right, just put your hand up if you know why you're here. And people put their hand up. And I was like, put your hand up if you understand what I'm saying. And people put their hand up. I was like, put your hand up if you don't understand what I'm saying. The same people put their hand up. And I was just like, you just understand one thing. Yeah, so I just tried to have fun. I rambled through my point. And I just got off the stage thinking, it's like, if it had been a stand-up gig, I probably would have like gone over and just addressed the crowd and just sort of sat down with them and gone, "Hey guys, what are we talking about?" But my friends put on the event. I didn't want to be rude, but it was one of the, I hadn't been on stage for a very long time. It was one of the weirdest experiences I had on stage.
Now, I'm trying to think of, as we're talking, like good things that possibly India does. Are cigarettes really cheap there?
Oh yeah, biddies. So this is how broke I was. I was going to send you guys some snacks and some biddies. Biddies are they're literally rough cut tobacco rolled in a dry tobacco leaf and tied up with a big string.
I used to smoke BDs.
Yeah, they cost.
College. Yeah, there was a smoke shop that would sell them, and it was like kind of like just the tobacco leaf rolled up into a cigarette, like a half-size cigarette, and it was
so you have rough chopped tobacco inside that cigarette in that leaf that's rolled. Some of them are actually quite nice, but the as I said, the food poisoning I got was from an open pack of Lucy's. And like I say, I'm a smoker. You get desperate. I decided to risk it, and it was a really dumb idea. In terms of like the good things in India, the guys who I rode the Himalayas with, Max and Nate, I spent 2 weeks with those guys. They're absolute legends. So Max had been watching my videos for a while. He came out of the army about 9 months ago. He had a medical discharge, and he was a bit of a loss of what to do. So he jumped on his bike and he'd ridden from France to India. He's riding around the world at the moment. He's called Scrambling Nomad on Instagram if people are interested in his journeys. He's an absolute legend. Nate as well, known as Nate the Nomad on Instagram. Very clever American guy. Got into property when he was young. Has a few properties in Tennessee, I think. And he just rides around the world on a really low budget, just on the money coming in from his rental properties. So he's set himself up with a life that I would really like. And we rode up, showed you the video of us in the source of the Ganges. We rode from Rishikesh all the way up the river to the source where it's the snow melt. And like that journey and those 2 weeks I spent with those guys was without a doubt the best time I had over there. I'm in the process of making a short film about it at the moment with the footage I got from that. And the mountain people are a lot more chill as well. I think there is really something about being in that kind of scenery that just relaxes you a bit. And I don't know, maybe like humbles you. It's much less populated, so it's not as like, it helps massively. You're not being harassed all the time. The people we met there were fucking lovely. Although the attitude about trash is still the same. We were like riding through. I think if you go into my picture files,
not that many people. There's still massive piles of trash because if you just don't care, and there's nowhere for it to go, and it doesn't go anywhere. So over time, they're going to the whole country is just going to be a base layer of trash. They're going to have to.
It's exactly that. Like no one collects it, so there's nothing you can do. If you one of the pictures that I've sent you, Steve, it just says Ganges source. And that's a picture of one of the valleys we were in. So to give you an idea of like, there's some beautiful nature there. It's just treated with so much disrespect. The only places that I found without rubbish was when we actually left the road and we'd walk for a while. And if you go really, really into like the outback, as it were, that's where you stop seeing trash.
So yeah, I have the Ganges picture. I think this is it.
Yeah, like look at that. It's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, but if you were standing there and you looked down, there's trash at the side of the road. And it go back to what my friend Bob said. It's just so depressing because they could fix it. They have the ability to fix it, and they don't. And there are people working on it. But there was this page on Instagram called Better India that Jono advised me to take a look at because I was feeling a bit down on the country. And it's all these feel-good stories about Indians actually making an effort to keep their country clean and make it look nice. But all of those stories pretty much say the government isn't doing this. It's people taking it into their own hands to do it. Often because people are just embarrassed about the state of their country. There are people who genuinely feel bad. They want people to come there and they want people to like the country. And there's a reason that India is kind of a social media punching bag at the moment. Oh, that was the elder of the village we met. So the chap with long hair is Nate, the chap with short hair is Max, and that's the couple that are basically the heads of the village. They were lovely.
Wow.
They look lovely.
Did they give you the red dot or the line on your head?
Yeah, so I didn't take, that was the only blessing I took when I was there, because as I say, I'm not into the spiritual stuff, but we finished lunch with them and they insisted on gifting us a scarf and giving us a local blessing. So something like that, which has come up naturally and they're not asking for money for, yeah, that's cool.
Now, I could see if you grew up in this country where there's just trash everywhere and you never left, you would just assume that's normal. Like you wouldn't even think that it's bad.
And it definitely feels natural when you're done with something to just throw it on the ground. Be like, I'm done with it. Like it is the natural thing you do. But at the same time, there's also a natural reaction you should have to seeing a pile of shit on the floor. It should make you go, huh, that doesn't really belong there.
But what if you saw it everywhere all the time? That's the thing.
You should look everywhere and go, wow, there's fucking shit everywhere. This is crazy. We should all fix this. This is terrible. We're living in garbage.
This little village was without a doubt the cleanest place I went on the entire trip. Like, this is a small community of about 60 people. They're a farming community and they're clearly looking after the place. We didn't see trash here, but unfortunately that's an exception. And you raise a good point. Like, if you grow up like that and that's natural and that's normal, like, why would you think differently? And a lot of and this is where my sympathy comes in. A lot of people in that country are never going to leave it. So that's Yogi said to me that people look at foreigners in a way like gods, and I think that was a bit of a mistranslation. It's more like we're aliens. We're this strange being from another part of the world that they will probably never experience, that has like technology and luxuries beyond their dreams, beyond what they can actually conceive. Like, if I took some of the tribal kids just to the workshop where I'm sat now, and they saw that, you know, I'm sat next to a coffee machine and we've got a fridge and we've got bikes and we've got tools and all this shit, like, it would blow their minds. So yeah, there is a lot of me, as much as like I'm ragging on the country a bit, there's a lot of me that has a tremendous amount of sympathy for the people there.
Do you think if you showed one of them a dumpster, they would just start taking all the trash out of it? Throwing it on the floor, like, what is this shit?
Why are you putting all your trash in one box?
There's a perfectly good apartment here. It's Go down the floor.
But yeah, it's so weird, man. And speaking of shit, it's not just trash; it's literal shit. So obviously, like, the common thing is, oh yeah, they shit in the streets. It's like, I did see that in quite a few places, but what I wasn't prepared for was the amount of people who shit at the side of the road without cover. Usually, if I see someone's asshole, it's because I really like them. And in this case, like, you're driving down the equivalent of a highway, and every 1,000 meters, there's someone just crouched down next to their bike or car. Just shit, like, literally, I could see it coming out. Like, it was. And what's worse about that, and it's not like they go 10 feet off to the side of the road and go hide behind a bush or open their car door so they can't be seen, just right there on the ground. But I was on a really unreliable bike and it kept on breaking down, so I kept on fixing it at the side of the road. Every time I pulled my bike into the side of the road, I had to be careful not to put my foot in human shit because it's just strewn all over the highway.
Why? It's again, I guess like you said, that's what they're used to. But how are you used to just not at least the slightest amount of modesty and like shame of walk 5 feet, 10 feet even off the side of the road and just kind of poop in, seclusion in private a little bit.
You have to poop on the road. Yeah. Walk
if you
5
have to, if for some reason, you just can't make it another fucking 5 minutes till you get to your destination and you got to take a shit. Just go a little further. What? It's just the cultures. But oh no, I've seen other people do this. This is what we do.
Yeah, everyone does it.
This is what everybody does. I basically hang my cheeks on the side of the road so that a car can run it over.
And also, what else you do? You go home to the worst toilet ever. What's the point of shitting in that?
If you have one.
If you have one, might as well just shit outside in nature.
People, you know what? Is that what they're doing? Are they leaving where they live to go shit somewhere far away so that it doesn't stink up the house?
It's often directly outside of their house if you're in the poorer areas. So in the poorer areas, like that was one of the most depressing places I went. We went and stayed when I was doing the actual tour for the company. We went and stayed in this really, really nice place. And it was the center of this town, and it was the only nice thing in the entire town. As we were riding in, I was looking around going, oh, fuck, it's like, have I come to the right place? Is this wrong? Like, because this place was desolate. And then we got to our accommodation, and it's this old fort that used to be like the center of the town, and it's been converted into a hotel. And inside the walls of it, they've got like grass growing. It's this lush, beautiful place. Everything like is served to you. The food's amazing. And literally right outside, you have people begging in the street, and they have guards on the outside to keep the regular people out, because the caste system still very much exists there as well. But the streets we were going in, all the houses have a gutter that runs out of them, and people just shit directly into the gutter outside their house. And it's like there's a movement at the moment in India, because one of the guys on the tour shared a photo of all this rubbish into the chat, and the Indian guy who runs the company with Gino got a bit upset by this, and he was like, hey, you know, we're trying to make the country better, because they do get embarrassed about it. And he sent a link to this program, which was the anti-open defecation program that the government's trying to initiate. But I was like, I'm not sure. I can imagine there must have been a point in our country's history where we had to turn around to people and be like, look, you really can't shit in the street anymore. But most cultures, I think, developed that like quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like the Romans had latrines. Like it's not. Yeah, and again, like I'm genuinely not trying to be overly harsh on the country. I'm just trying to be honest about my experiences there. And I just saw so much that was just like, why would I tell people to come here? I said to someone the other day, it's like, I said, I'm not in a hurry to go back. I designed a tour for the company. I haven't sent them the details for it yet, but I think I'm going to have to say to them, it's like, look, I'm not going to be running that tour. I would have to be paid a lot of money to go back to that country. And I don't think I can, in good faith, tell people it's a place they should go. Which brings me on to my next point, Garrett and Steve. Yes. I was thinking, I've got a decent following. You've got some very supportive Patreons. And I'm going to bring it up on air because I haven't prepped you on this. What do you say to the idea of us funding a travel show and I take you guys to India and keep you safe and show you the shittest places there?
I love you, Guy, but I can't think of anything I'd rather do less than be taken to India and fucking everything you've described on top of what I've already seen myself just makes me go like never, never ever.
Just like
I was really hoping you'd say yes.
Food or anything.
That's
like
the thing with me. I'd pass away. Yeah. I would die from just not being able to consume anything over there without having diarrhea to the point that my body fails. Like I don't think I would survive just the diet alone, let alone like I'm okay in a car, but if we were riding motorbikes and shit out there on these treacherous roads, I'd be fucking dead. I would die 12 times over in so many different ways. It's not. I would love to. It sounds like a fun time, but never.
It doesn't really sound like a fun time.
With
Guy,
Guy would be a fun time, but
I'll be honest with you. There was only like 5% of me that thought you might say yes to this, but I was hoping it's like if we can get enough funding, and I'm talking a lot of money. I'm talking like we get the budget to do it. And the three of us get $5,000 on top because people are going to pay to watch us suffer. I think it would make a good show, but it does come with the risk of you guys actually having to go to India.
It would be nice though to be treated, like famous white people over there. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be fun.
We just spend a day taking pictures with everyone and shaking hands and getting fucking. Give me 200 rupee. I kind of want that to happen. That seems like fun.
Like, I don't think even like Anthony Bourdain ever did a show in India.
No way. Really?
Right? Like, I've never seen like the foodie people go and like, I'm going to India because it's just like, it seems so uninhabitable or like not
I'll be honest,
welcoming.
in the posh places, like because I went on a serious budget. I was like mainly living on street food, so I make pretty much no money doing this. If any of your followers want to support my Patreon, thank you everyone who already does. But I had fuck all money. It was only my Patreon and a few other things that actually kept me going, because I'd run out of the money that I'd been paid to actually do the thing. Like about a month before the end of it. So I really went on a strict budget. So I was eating street food, but we did go to a couple of nice places. The food was good, but the best Indian food that I've ever eaten is served in the Indian restaurant in the town that I live just outside of in Cornwall. That's the nicest Indian food I've ever had. Like, I hate to say it, but it's just true. I'm not saying we didn't eat good food out there, but yeah, most of it. Like, and as I say, because I was living on a budget, I do like the fact that I could eat for about $2 a day easily.
Wow.
But it's not worth. And this is my point about India the whole time. As much as I had some really great experiences there, the people I've met, fantastic, and I do have some good memories. The amount of negative memories behind it outweigh that so much, and how it made me feel, because I'm on a bike the whole time. I'm on the most dangerous roads, and I would have an incident that here I would chase someone down and have a word with them because they pulled such a stupid maneuver on the road, and that would be like, hey man, you can't behave like that on the road. Whereas out there, that happens every 5 minutes. So, and being on a bike, you're more vulnerable as well. So you're constantly on edge because you've constantly been nearly dying. I'm not going to boast about my abilities as a motorcyclist. I'm pretty decent on a bike. The only reason I'm alive is because I'm pretty decent on a bike. It's sketchy as fuck. And it just, there's that saying, the game's not worth the candle. And that's kind of where I lie with India at the moment, is you can do some really amazing stuff, but it just doesn't seem worth it. I don't understand anyone who moves there.
Now, like the hotels or whatever, the accommodations you stayed at, was there ever like a continental breakfast or anything like that?
Yeah, in a few places. Sometimes they would get it right, sometimes they wouldn't. So you'd have a spread in the morning, be like fruit and things. A lot of the country is vegetarian, and it's really hard to get protein. So we started turning up in places, and we would ask in advance for them to go out and get eggs so we could have eggs in the morning. One place, I've never seen someone screw up scrambled eggs so badly. We usually ask for them hard boiled, but one of the guys on the tour was like, can we get scrambled eggs? And we were given this egg mush with sugar. It was like they just poured eggs and water and sugar into a pan and just rinsed it around, and it was this bubbly, gelatinous mess that came. And I was just like, I've never seen someone screw up scrambled eggs. It's not that fucking difficult. Like I say, again, some of the places we stayed were lovely. The place in Jim Corbett, I met this wicked guy, Heron. Nate, the American who was with me in the Himalayas, knew this guy from online, and he just inherited a resort in Jim Corbett Reservation, which is a jungle south of the Himalayas. And he just got in touch with us. He was like, yo, come and stay here for free. It's all gratis. And we went and stayed in this luxury place. We turned up, and as soon as we're all like dust covered, raggedy as fuck, beat up bikes. And as soon as we turned up, all these guys just came with like hot, wet towels for us to dust ourselves down with, gave us a load of drinks, put all of our bags onto a golf buggy, took it all to our rooms. And we got, like, that was, weirdly enough, that's where I got sick from the dirty cigarettes. It was only me and the smoker that got ill. We were given whatever food we wanted all the time. We had butler service to our rooms. It was like, it's the nicest place I've ever fucking stayed.
India was like, you're not getting away with this. We're going to get you. You're not going to have the best experience. We got to
exactly. It was the best place to get ill. I was ill somewhere comfortable. But yeah, like I sent you the video from that. I was shitting green at one point. I shat the bed at one point. I haven't shat the bed since I was a kid.
Oh God.
Yeah, how was that? Because you're in an entirely new country for weeks, months. How was how did your stomach adjust to the diet?
So whenever you travel somewhere else, you'll usually get like a little bit of a rumbly belly for a day or two as you adjust to the local bacteria. So when I first landed, I had like a day where I was like, have I got food poisoning? I was like, no, I'm just shitting a lot because my stomach's adjusting and it's just clearing it through. I wasn't ill, but I did 50 days, which out of every one of my friends who's been to India, I've lasted the longest. So 50 days with no food poisoning. But when it came, fuck me, that was bad. Like literally just cold sweats, getting up every 20 minutes. It didn't matter what I had in me. I must have been shitting out pure bile because I was shitting green liquid, and like, and your body just gets depleted of everything. It's a great diet. I lost loads of weight, but yeah, wouldn't recommend it.
Now, when you came home, did you like open up your suitcase and go, "Oh my god, my fucking clothes stink"?
So you because of the food, your sweat starts to smell like Indian sweat. So I would smell my clothes and just be Jesus fucking Christ. Like it didn't smell like me. I was like I say, I'm not a big fan of London or cities. I was so happy to be back home. I got into London, which isn't the cleanest place in the world, and like everything just felt so clean. I went to the toilet at the airport just before bag collection. I went for a piss, and they had air fresheners in the toilet, and it was almost overpowering because I hadn't been in a toilet that didn't smell like shit for so long. I was just like, oh, they've actually thought that this room might smell bad, so they've counteracted it with something. What fucking luxury!
What was the stinkiest place in all of India that you experienced?
Oh, that would be a public toilet in a small town that I stopped in to clean my carburetors. So my bike was chugging a bit. I knew I needed to clean the carbs, and I found a garage. And there's a bit of a language barrier, and I was at the point of just kind of going, it's like, look, I'll take the tools. Here's some money. I'll just do the work. And then when they realized what I was doing, they were like, no, sir, we'll do it. It's okay. It cost me 150 rupees, which is like $2 to get my carbs cleaned. That would be like $80 over here. And I said, oh, is there a washroom nearby? And this guy just pointed over to this shack. It was corrugated iron, just this little shack next to the side of the road. And it was like one of those toilets that I showed you in the source of the Ganges. But there's no water pump or anything there. It's literally just one of those toilets and nothing else in this little box room. And it was just overflowing with shit. And like, at first I was like, right, I'm not risking crouching on this because I've got bike stuff on. I can't trust that it's not going to touch it. I'll just have a piss and hopefully that will relieve the pressure. So I started pissing, but then the piss lands on the shit and it brings all the smell up. So I just like holding onto the wall, just kind of going, trying to, yeah. And again, like, I still even feel bad saying that because that's what those poor fuckers have to put up with every day because their government won't institutionalize a proper waste management system. And that's what it really boils down to, is that there's two problems. It's like the Indians themselves aren't really helping themselves. I saw loads of people just throwing stuff outside of the road, out of their cars, over their walls, whatever they could to get rid of the rubbish. But as I say, the Indian government itself could be doing so much more to help its citizens, and it doesn't. And then they wonder why people go there and just rip the shit out of the country. Like, you know, like, I think you guys are perfectly fair in your assessment of India. I think I said in a private message to you at one point, everything you think about India is true. Like, it's like, Bob and I were talking earlier, and we just came to the agreement. It's like, you have to go there to really understand how bad it is. There's nothing that a person can say to you, because I can tell you all these horrible stories, but until you've just walked around town and realized that everything is just a bit shit. And at the same time, like the tragic side of it, of having like kids the same age as my nephews coming up to me and just pointing at their bellies and holding their hands out and just going, money, 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 because that's the only English word they know. It becomes so draining, and there's, you know, you can't solve the world's problems by just handing out fistfuls of cash while you're out there. I was skinned anyway. Trying to explain to Indians that you're poor in their country when you're a white man is just a concept they don't understand.
They probably just think you're a liar. Like, he's full of shit. He's, you know, look how tall he is. Of course he has money. He's so tall. It costs so much to feed him. He must be rich.
The people literally said that to me. Like, they would turn around to you. Because again, there's no concept of being rude about you. They'd come up and they'd pat your belly and go, "Oh, how many chapatis to fill you up? You must take 20 chapatis."
Now, is the government not helping because there's like no taxes? Like, is there some sort of benefit, not a benefit, but like they don't get taxed, but also.
So it's very hard to tax the population there. So I think it's estimated like 60% of the country don't pay taxes, but most of them wouldn't earn enough to pay taxes anyway. And with a country that's so big and with the population expanding constantly, it is, look, you know, I can say all these things. It's a very difficult job. I wouldn't want to fucking take it on. Like, I wouldn't want the responsibility of fixing that country. I think that a lot of things could be done better. But yeah, like most people, like everyone deals in cash, which I'm perfectly happy with. And most people, particularly in rural areas, like wouldn't even consider the government. There's no police in the rural areas. So you can do whatever you want, but at the same time, you're kind of fucked if anything bad happens.
Yeah.
I was making a video one day, like I would go to really remote places to film my videos, because if I started filming anywhere with people around, you've seen it, I immediately get crowded. I couldn't make a video in a public area. So I'd go off into these really rural areas, and without fail, within 10 minutes, some people would turn up, then more people would turn up. And I was doing a video one day, and these guys turned up, about 4 young lads on motorbikes, and they started talking to me. It's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just making a video for some friends back home." And there you go. "Oh, okay." And like they're talking to me for a bit, asking what I'm doing, and then they go, "You know, you alone?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm alone. A solo traveler, yeah. And they said, "Oh, there's no police here." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." He went, "It's not very safe here." And I was just sort of looked and I was like, "Are these fuckers about to mug me?" So I just turned, like, I just stood up to my full height and I said, "I feel safe. Should I be in danger?" And they all just kind of looked at each other and looked at me and went, "Oh, no, sir, you're in no danger, no problem. I was just like, and again, I can't say for certain, but there was a bit of me who's like, these fuckers are trying to work out if they can mug me. Yeah, I mean, look, there is definitely an advantage to being fucking massive over there. It's like you saw how big all the people are compared to me.
Yeah, they were all tiny. I thought like some of them would be maybe your size, but you were literally a giant over there. Like,
yeah,
5'5" and sort of pudgy, but not really fat.
Well, they don't eat a lot of meat. They don't get a lot of protein. Like I think in Bengal they get a bit bigger because they're mostly meat eaters out there. But I had, as I say, I'm trying my best not to be aggressive or violent or anything like that. I came the closest I'd come to hitting someone. I nearly threw a guy off a bridge. So there's a bridge in Rishikesh, and it has a central line for pedestrians, and then either side of it there's one-way motorcycle traffic, and it's just big enough to ride a bike through. Now, there was a big festival. Most of the time you go across the bridge, no problem, but there was a big festival in town when I came back to it. And as I went across on the first day, there's loads of people in the motorbike lane. So I'm just beeping my horn and being like, "Hey, can you move over? Can you move over?" And instead of jumping over into the pedestrian lane, they would just push up against the wall. I was like, no, you need to get in there. You're in the wrong place. The second day it happened, I was just holding my clutch out and holding my horn down, being like, "Move, move, move." The third day, there were police at either end of the bridge showing people which way to go, probably because they had reports of a giant Westerner plowing through people on the bridge. And just as so the police sees me, he waves me into the motorcycle lane. And as I pull into the motorcycle lane, this guy just jumps in front of my bike so he can get in the bike lane. And I crash into him because he literally jumped right in front of my fucking bike. So I hit him. And he turns around to me and starts yelling at me like it's my fault. It's like he could see me, he could see everything. So he's shouting at me in Hindi, I'm shouting at him in English, and then he puts his hands on my handlebars and leans over the bike. At which point I hit the kill switch and I stand up over the bike, and like you've never seen someone's facial expression change so fucking quickly. Like this guy just looked up at me and went, "Oh fuck, I've made a mistake." I was so furious, and I had this sort of flash of violence in my head. I just wanted to grab him and throw him as hard as I could. And I reached out to grab him, and as soon as my hands got close, the police who were behind me just came running forward, grabbed this guy, slammed him into the side of the wall, And I start yelling at them. I was like, that's not my fucking, like, I was really angry. So that's not my fucking fault. He fucking jumped in. They're just like, yes, sir, no problem, sir, no problem, sir. Please go, please go. I was like, I'm not fucking saying it. Yes, please go, please go, please go. And like, they're only armed with sticks. What are they going to do? Yeah, I plowed on through. But like, I didn't like that the country made me feel like that. Like, that's a really horrible way to feel.
Well, it just reminds me of another stereotype they have over in India, as far as, bad reputation for just doing whatever the fuck they want. How often were you out in public and you saw, ladies being assaulted or groped or?
Mate, fucking constant. So not even like, it's bad. It's very bad for Western girls to be there. The police try and clamp down on it in the more touristy areas, but even them, like, if they can get away with it, they will. When the guys ask for selfies with girls, they put their hand under their armpit and just try and grab their boobs straight away. And even like the older women, like when I was in Rishikesh, it's like the yoga mecca. There was like ladies there in their 50s, and I chat to them and they say, oh, they are a bit handsy. And it's just like, it's just constant. So I went to Holi Festival, and we went through there was an area where they were pretty much stopping. I think they were dividing it by caste because there were a few Indian people inside, but it was mostly Westerners. And it's the festival where everyone slaps colours on each other. And all the girls just had shitloads of colour on their chest because Indian guys have been coming up and going, oh, happy Holi, happy Holi. And it's, yeah. And even the way they treat their own women, like sorry, go ahead, Garrett.
Yeah, we watched a video of the Holi Festival that was exactly that. It was these
Western girls.
They were like recording themselves, and just every split second, it was just, oh yeah, give me fucking tit. They were getting
Have you seen my Holi video yet?
Into
the what?
I don't think I'm not sure if you guys played that. I might have missed an episode, but if you scroll up on your messages, Steve, I've got a Holi video for you. So it won't be in the ones I just sent you. It's a bit further up.
You might have played it, and that's probably why I brought up the Holi thing.
Maybe that was the guy video. Yeah.
No, it's not me with the girls. They're just below the Instagram post, which has a word I won't say in it. So just above it, it says Holi Festival Day MP4. Yeah. So I put up a version of this on Instagram, but I made an unedited version for you guys.
It says no longer available. Please ask to resend.
I'll resend it right now. So I mean, again, it's one of those things that it's a cool event. Like, I think it was really cool, but I would not recommend any woman ever go there. It's just, it's just horrific. We got attacked. Well, you'll see in the video. Let me just find it quickly. Sorry, buy me some time.
Buying some time.
Buying guys some time.
No, yeah, I didn't know how to ask that question, but I'm like, he must have seen like just random girls getting their clothes ripped off, because that's all you hear about India.
Yeah, it's the videos you see too. I forget what it was. There was some like celebrity I never heard of that showed up in India, and just like the hordes of guys that just come around her and just trying to touch her, and she's her body language is all just like cowering and holding everything close, doesn't want to expose any sort of body part.
1.6 billion Frankie McDonald's that are all just trying to fucking shove their fingers in any hole they can get their hand on, while also taking a selfie.
Yeah,
they want to give you the selfie butthole touch, but it's not just one; it's millions of. You can't walk anywhere without just getting grabbed and groped and fucking digitally penetrated.
Frankie would love India.
Oh my god,
he's a big, tall, white guy that wants to take selfies of all his fans, and he would just keep. He wouldn't stop. He'd be up for days just taking selfies.
Well, that's
honestly, Frankie would have a wonderful time if he ever goes on his world tour. Fuck yes, Frankie's. I was on with Gino and Larry when I was still out there. And Frankie came on, and I was so pleased because Frankie corrected Gino on the weather, because Gino turns around and goes, "Hey, Frankie, what's the weather like in India?" And Frankie goes, "Well, it's the dry season at the moment." And Gino goes, "They don't have a dry season in India." I was like, "Actually, Gino, it is the dry season right now. You don't correct Frankie McDonald on the weather. Everyone should know that."
Yes.
But that's actually, did you ever even, did any females ever approach you, or was it 100%?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get your cock sucked?
So I did not. I was a very blue-balled boy the entire time I was in India, because even though I got approached by a few ladies, I can't say that I'm the biggest fan of Indian women. Like, look, there are some girls out there that are quite pretty, but yeah, in general, not for me. And also, most of the time, there was a language barrier. They just see a big white guy, they think they're going to get some money. So particularly tribal girls will come up to you and sort of like try and start touching you and flirting with you, but they don't know how to speak any English. You just feels weird at that point. Your point about the way they treat women, you should have just got a message, Steve. The point about the way they treat women in the tribal areas, most of the girls are married off by the time they're about 13, and usually to someone who's like 20 years older than them. And it's like they're just having kids, and all married, like 90% of the marriages there are all arranged. It's basically a business deal. It's got nothing to do with like love or dating or anything. You're set up with potential suitors. You do meet your potential suitors and you supposedly pick one, but you have a lot of pressure from your family of what's going to work out the best in terms of business for your family, and that's how they unite each other.
Oh, we got it.
Yeah, sorry, we were just downloading your video.
That's all right. Yeah, you carry on. But yeah, like I say, it's one of the other things that I found stressful. Like I met one or two girls there that were traveling solo, and like I'd say to them, "It's like, how have you found it?" And they say, "Oh, you know, it's pretty stressful sometimes." But most of them were all on like a spiritual journey or a yoga kick. They had other reasons to be there. I'm not a particularly spiritual person. Like for all intents and purposes, I'm an atheist, but I've also done a lot of acid. So yeah, you know, there could be something bigger. But I'm not going to knock anyone for their beliefs. But yeah, once I saw it out there, I was like, I can't see, like, there's so many other places you can go for a spiritual journey. Ah, here you are.
Bloody bastard, bitch! Fuck you! Bloody fuck you, bloody!
So we're about to head out into Jaipur for Holi Festival, which is the festival of colours. Everyone throws colours at each other in the street. But it's also International Groping Day, because all the young Indian boys just use it as an excuse to smear colour on girls. So unfortunately we're in a group of men, but I don't know how I'm going to react if I see something like that, because I tend not to like that sort of behaviour, and this country is full of it. But yeah, very clean at the moment. Let's see how this goes. So we've just stepped outside the front door. I don't even know what this is, but we're getting it smashed all over us. Everyone else was sensible and wore white clothing. In a country where people really don't have the best personal hygiene, having your face rubbed by complete strangers it's not always the most advisable scenario. Basically, literally everywhere you go, people will just come up to you and slap your face with a load of colour. Nice hairstyle, I like it. Nice hairstyle, right? Yeah. You look beautiful as well. Happy holidays. I've got 72 hours left in this country to try and not get sick and not get arrested. I was slightly worried we were going to be unarmed, but my buddy Harry here is sorting us out.
That guy was an absolute legend, Harry.
We picked up some theme music somehow. I don't think he's going to leave us alone. So there's just kids with water balloons on every roof, and they've decked a few of us already. Can't try harder. So yeah, it's just kind of like a really silly war zone. I haven't done much filming in the cities, but most roads in India don't have sidewalks, so when you want to get somewhere quickly, you just walk down the main road. Okay, so that was the walk here, and now we're heading into the crowded area. See how this goes. So weirdly enough, even though everyone's coloured, I've been here for 3 months, and this is the most white people I've seen in the entire time I've been in India. I just want to say, so this is Alex, who I've just met at Holly in Jaipur, and he follows me online.
Absolutely, it's a small world. It's a small world. Happy homing.
That was a really weird experience.
I'm not sure what's happening, but they've separated the crowd. I think there's either going to be a mosh pit or a lot of violence or a race. I'm not sure. So the race organiser's got a good gambit. What he does, whenever they're doing a race with water, they just get the girls with chests on stage. Next event is a turban race. You must obtain a turban very quickly. So we spent about an hour in there. It was a bit hectic to film, but we're just walking back and I am gutted I did not get the crowd chanting Gino is gay. This is Trevor, he's 72, he's just done Holly with me. What do you reckon to Holly, Trevor?
Gino is gay.
There you go. So that was all fun and games until we just got attacked by street children back there, most of which were just very aggressively throwing very dirty water balloons at us. But one kid who just picked up a handful of street shit, like literal shit, and just slapped it on all of our heads. So that wasn't so much fun.
It's a fun prank.
So now I'm washing literal shit out of my eyes. I was just starting to think I'd had a nice day in India. So I'm going to have a shower and get rid of this. Overall, I mean, there's a lot of happy people having fun. Met some lovely people at the actual event. Somewhat ruined by getting attacked with literal shit and muddy water. A lot of things in India are ruined by exactly that. But yeah, I think I would come to Holly again if I was with some really close friends and we had some acid. Other than that, I don't think it's worth doing.
Wait a minute. You think that experience would be made better if you were fucking tripping balls for 6 hours straight?
There's fun colors going on.
Yeah.
So I have done it. I've been on acid in front of both my parents. I can handle that on acid.
God, that is like my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Is because I already have had a tough time with acid. I'm not the biggest fan. So to be tripping balls and in Stinkland while people are
I thought you meant in front of your parents.
Oh no, that too. That wouldn't be fun either. But to be people just looking at me and touching me, I wouldn't be able to deal with the big white celebrity part of this if I was tripping balls.
No,
I would be freaking the fuck out, like everyone just get the fuck away, get away from me. And then to have a little kid throw shit in my face would probably
yeah. That I don't know if I would have taken so well if I was tripping at the time. But yeah, I mean, that really did ruin it. So that old guy who's with me, Trevor, he knows me from back home, and he didn't know anything about my internet presence. He's another biker, and he knows me from the local biker cafe that I go to. Everyone else I know down there is like 30 years older than me. And he follows this pretty girl online who does bike stuff. And he saw me in one of her videos. He's like, oh, fuck, that's Guy. And then he saw my stuff doing it. He was like, oh, he's in India. I've never been to India. I'll go out there. And he had the time of his fucking life. He was the one person on the tour who never complained about anything. He just really got involved. In fact, I think you might have a picture called Stoned Shepherds or Stoned with Shepherds. So we stopped at a chai stand. And as we pulled in, like, weed's pretty popular there. It's still illegal, but you can get it pretty much anywhere. Now, I haven't smoked weed for over a decade. It doesn't really agree with me. I do eat it occasionally, but I don't smoke it anymore. And there are all these shepherds hanging around with a cone, just chugging on this joint. And there he is. There's Trevor. Trevor's 72 years old. He turned around to me and went, what's that then? I went, oh, it's weed, Trevor. It's cannabis. And he went, oh, I think I've tried that before. Shall I have a go? I was like, if you want to. He said, well, I suppose it's part of the cultural journey, isn't it? So he just sat down with all these shepherds and got high with them.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what's the drug situation over there?
Oh, yeah.
So drugs are pretty much very illegal, but there's not a lot of police to manage it. Weed, so we had these things called bang balls in Pushkar. And that's like a chocolate ball with hash, and it's got like some fermented yeast stuff. It's very similar to just eating hash brownies, which I like to say I do still eat it. They were quite nice. We also did manage, and I can say this now, I'm not in the country, we did manage to score some opium at some point, and we had a drink of that. I've smoked opium before, but I'd never drank it. And yeah, that was quite pleasant because it's a disassociate. And in a country where you're really angry and pissed off all the time, something that makes you not give a fuck about anything really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that sounds like the highlight of the trip.
Yeah.
Doing some opium in India.
Yeah, I didn't know you could even drink it.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a thing.
I've smoked it a few times, but
You've smoked opium?
I think so.
You think so? How do you wait? What's the
like? I never had it myself, but like a friend had it, and I think it was opium. Yeah, but I don't know. It could have been hash. I don't know really the difference. It's kind of just like a tarry substance, right?
Yeah, you score it from the opium poppies, and it brings out this sort of gunge. It sort of goes dark brown when you've had it. You can mix it in with hash, so sometimes you get opium hash. Years ago, I knew a guy at a festival would get hold of it, and I'd buy like 1 gram or 2 grams off him, and it would last me fucking months because it wasn't something I wanted to get too into, but it was a really nice thing to pull out at the end of a heavy night. If you're at a festival, you've been smashing Class A's for the last 3 days, tripping your tits off. It gets to Sunday night, and you're like, oh, we'll just have a cheeky little opium joint. That'd be lovely. It's a good way to finish off a trip.
What's their like normal day schedule like? You know, like you go to Spain and everyone stays up late and sleeps during the afternoon. You know, like what's their routine?
They are not early risers. So I get up quite early usually, especially when I was out there because I like beating the traffic. So if I wanted to leave the city and go ride around the rural areas, at first I was getting up at like 6 or 7 so I could have empty roads. And I realized you could do that until about 9. Most like official businesses sort of start trading at about 10 or 11. But everything is open late as well, especially if you're in a busier area. So all the shops will work for like 14 hours, but they'll open at like 11 o'clock and then they'll stay open till midnight. It's always busy. You can always get something. But weirdly enough, the drinking culture is totally different. So, I mean, I loved drinking in America, especially just being an English person. All the bars that I went into, like Sullivan's, I think I paid for like half my drinks in there. Like it's like I love the way you guys drink. And it's similar in England as well. We have a bar culture and a pub culture. But there, alcohol is actually quite taboo. Alcohol is like more taboo than cannabis and opium. Even though they're illegal, it's not looked on so badly. So alcohol is also really expensive. Alcohol is about the same price. Well, not quite the same price, but close to the same price as England. And to find a nice bar, like a rooftop bar where you're away from everything, things were always more expensive there. Or you could go to the wine shops, which are off licenses, which have to close by 8 p.m., but they have a little secret door that you can knock on and someone will serve you. And you can buy beer. And what happens there is all the street alcoholics hang outside it and just sit down. So whenever I went to them, it was even worse than normal because everyone wants selfies, but they're all these really drunk Indians who just want to touch you and mob you the whole time.
That's what I was gonna ask, because even if you get into a bar, isn't it a fucking nightmare? Because you're now getting accosted by the drunk version of everybody who was just outside, not leaving you the fuck alone.
You're 100% right. And also, Indians love noise. The sign of a good time is making as much noise as possible. So you would go into a bar that had like, and most of the girls don't go out because they know what it's going to be like if they go out. So you go into a bar and it's mostly men, and it's groups of drunk Indian men boasting about their accomplishments. Because like any conversation with an Indian guy you have, so I am part of a world record holding mechanical team. The machine shop where I am at the moment, we hold the record for the fastest deconstruction and reconstruction of a functional motorcycle. Wow. I met this guy who was a nice dude. I'm not knocking him, but he was very Indian in his communication. He's talking and he's getting to know me, and I was telling him about this because he was asking what I was doing here. And I said, I work with motorbikes, and I work with this group called the Machine Shop. We teach people mechanical skills. We got a world record earlier this year. And I got that far in the sentence. He went, I have 3 world records. And I was like, oh, okay, bud. And then he told me, and he does. He holds the world record for like the longest wheelie in a straight line and a few other things. And he's an interesting dude. But like every time you talk to people out there and you're explaining yourself, they always want to one up your achievements with the things they've done. And I get it, in a country where you don't have much, talking about the things that you do have makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're in a bar with Indian guys, they will just it's just constant boasting. And obviously, I mean, we all have friends who are a little bit like that, but there it is kind of constant. But more to the point, whenever you go into a bar, it will be mostly empty with a few tables full of Indian guys drinking and boasting, but the music will be at 200 decibels and there'll be laser lights everywhere. It's like the worst nightclubs. All their nightclubs are the worst nightclubs, like the really cheesy, terrible music, far too loud, shit lighting, and you can't have a conversation without yelling. And when I go out and have a beer, unless I'm going to a band or a DJ that I want to dance to and want to have fun with, I want to sit and talk to my friends. And we found so few places you could sit peacefully and have a beer and just talk.
Why is everything they do the worst version of a thing you
Exactly my fucking point. Exactly. The people just don't. This is what people don't get when we say you go there. It's like, whatever you do, it's like it's the worst version of it. It's just always done slightly badly.
Like, you can't even just go out, get a drink, and like just take a load off. You go to a bar and you're just, all your senses are being assaulted. There's people coming up to you screaming in your face. It smells, there's lights.
Bragging about what they do.
Literally blinding fucking laser lights and noise that's making you want to vomit.
It's like they want you to leave. Right? It's like they don't get the point.
Yeah, honestly, this is what's so weird about it. So, I mean, obviously, like India has their own thing. They do a lot of production. They outsource a lot of tech. There's obviously loads of like scamming places and everything. They do actually produce a lot. So their economy, like Thailand's economy, is almost pretty much dependent on tourism. But when you go to Thailand, like the Thais are some of the loveliest people I've ever met. And even when they're trying to scam you, it's a bit of a game. Like I speak passable Thai now because I lived there for a while. And I'd have like tuk-tuk drivers try and rip me off with the prices. And I'd start negotiating the prices in Thai. And they'd just grin and go, oh, you know what the price is. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. And they'll just fuck around with you and come to an agreeable price with you. But it's a fun game. It's not this desperate, rude, angry, invasive attitude they have. It's just like they'll see if they can get some money out of you, and if they realize they can't, they're like, fuck it, this guy seems cool, and then you'll hang out with them and get to know them. It's fine.
Does India have like a beer, or is all the beer you got over there like what you could get in England?
Yeah. Fuck, I can't even remember what it's called now. Kingfisher. So they have Kingfisher beer, which we also have in England, but it's much better. So the beer there, all the bottled beer has glycerin in it to try and keep it fresh because of the hot climate. So even there's not a lot of access to refrigeration, you have to specifically ask for a cold beer. But the glycerin in the beer gives you a fucking horrific hangover. And it gives a really bitter aftertaste to it. So you have to, glycerin is heavier than water and beer is lighter than water. So if you want to get the glycerin out of the beer, you have to be a chemist to do it. You have to pick up your bottle, put your thumb over it, get a glass of water, turn it upside down, take your thumb off. Oh, I've just spoiled myself. Take your thumb off it, hold it there for about 2 minutes, and you'll see the trails of glycerin come out. Then put your thumb over it again and pull it back up. If you want to not have the glycerin in the beer, most of the time, by the time I wanted a fucking beer, I was going to drink it. Fuck the glycerin.
Is that the what the Bush song is about? Glycerine.
I had to put my finger in the beer, put it in the water, get it out, so I didn't have a bad hangover in fucking India. Glycerine.
A bad mood.
Yeah, it's something as simple as, I'll just drink a beer. It turns into, well, I either have to dip it in a glass of water with my finger and watch the fucking trails come out, or I'm going to wake up tomorrow after having 2 beers with a hangover like I polished off a bottle of tequila. I can't even have a fucking beer.
Yeah, I mean, you've got it exactly right. It's everything you want to do. But Nate, the American guy I was in the Himalayas with, he had a really simple saying, which was beautiful. It was, simple things are hard in India. And that was so true. Like, it would just be a thing like, it's like, okay, we need to see if we can get boiled eggs in the morning. And even without the language barrier, we can all translate shit on our phones and stuff. it was so complicated just getting the simple idea of like, we want it for breakfast, like ordering food. So I had this experience multiple times, but there's one specific restaurant where it happened the first time and I really had to work out what was going on. I went to this place. It's quite a nice place with outdoor seating outside of town. It wasn't too stressful. Nice peaceful garden to sit in. And I went in there, ordered a cup of tea, and I ordered something off the menu. The guy said, "Yeah, no problem, sir." And he came back 20 minutes later and went, "Oh, we don't have that." I was like, "Okay, well, it took you 20 minutes to tell me that. That's a bit weird." So I pointed at something else on the menu. I was like, "I'll have one of them instead." He said, "Oh, okay, no problem." And he disappeared. 20 minutes later, he came back and he said, "Oh, we don't have that either." I was like, 20 minutes? What the fuck? So I just said, I said, "Okay, what do you have?" And he pointed at something on the menu, like pitcher and hummus or something. I was like, "I'll just have that. That's fine." And I got home to the guy I was working for and I explained the story to him. I said, "What's that about?" He said, "Oh, yeah. They won't keep all of that in the kitchen in case they don't sell it because they need to save money. So what they do is they put everything on the menu. And then when someone orders it, they send one of their guys down to town to see if they've got it in the local market. And then they buy it and then they come back and cook it for you. But if they don't have it, they have to come back 20 minutes later and tell you they don't have it."
That's extremely efficient.
Did you go to any fast food restaurant places?
Do they have any McDonald's out there?
Yeah.
I know
They have McDonald's, but they don't serve beef. Obviously, you can't get beef anywhere in the country. You can get, you're allowed to eat water buffalo in certain areas because they don't class it as a cow. But like beef's almost impossible to find.
That's another awesome thing about India. There's fucking cows everywhere, but you cannot have a strip of beef in the whole country.
Yeah, it's so weird with the cows as well because like, and in some places they do treat them with a bit of reverence, but the dairy industry there is brutal. It's not regulated at all. So I think one of the first ever pictures I sent you, which is a shame that Garrett hasn't seen it yet. I wanted Garrett to see a cow with a collapsed uterus. I went to a place called Animal Aid, which was a it's like a it's actually Animal Aid is lovely. They rescue street dogs. I took a dog there at one point because I found a puppy with a broken leg. They are a charity run.
Do you think we could show cows prolapsed assholes?
Actually, to be honest, that might be a Patreon thing. I think you should show Garrett. I have it pulled up. I'll show Garrett.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I wouldn't advise putting that on screen.
I don't even know, like some weird, I guess prolapse, but it's like so big and bulbous, just
and
brown
brown.
Ass. Yeah,
and
So,
there's like a big.
What they do is for the cows in the dairy industry, they repeatedly impregnate them so that they keep producing milk, and then that happens to them. So Animal Aid is this charity-run organization started by an American woman, I think 20 years ago. And they're really cool. I love those guys. I visited them several times when I was out there. And they take in street dogs, they spay them, they treat them for any diseases. They look after mistreated farm animals. Any stray animal, regardless of what it is, if someone brings it to them, they look after them. And I absolutely love that place. It's a bit tragic to go and see, but again, like I say, I love dogs. So I went there and I was just hanging out with all these injured stray dogs that were just so happy to have some care and attention to them. But they re-release a lot of the animals they get into the areas that they find. But most of the dogs come back and they just start hanging around outside Animal Aid because they know they're going to be treated nicely there. And it's like that is things like that are the nice side of it. You do see people actually trying to make an effort with it, but it's like trying to swim up a waterfall. There's so much awfulness going on. So anyone who has access to my Patreon, will you forgive me for telling a rather sad story? I know this is a comedy show.
Please,
yeah.
Say it away.
Yeah. So the reason, the primary reason for all the things I've said, the reason I don't want to go back to India is because of an experience I had when I actually had the tour. And bearing in mind, these are people and it's very weird to say this, these are people who have paid money to spend time with me, which is a fucking weird thing in the first place, and then come and ride around India with me. And we rode into a town at one point, and as I'm riding into the town, I slow down, and this puppy that's maybe like 3 weeks old comes out into the road, and I managed to stop just in time so that I stopped, and it bumped into my wheel and went, oh, and just kind of walked away from the wheel. And a car behind me was just like, why is this guy stopped? Honks down on his horn, goes around me, and just takes this puppy out. And it doesn't finish it. And I had to get off my bike. And I live on a farm. I've had to put animals down before, but I've never had to do it to I've taken my dogs to be put down, but I've never had to do that to a puppy. And like, because of India, I know what it feels like to snap a puppy's neck and have to put it back. And that's fucking brutal. And no one gave a shit. The driver didn't stop. The people in the street just kind of looked and went, like, and I get it. They see it every day. I'd seen loads of dead dogs the entire time I was out there. They're all over the side of the road. But because of that experience, that was like the final straw for me of just like, fuck this country, man. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in a place where they are that callous to an animal that has been such a big part of, like, not to put too much of a big point on it, but dogs are a really important part of human culture. They've been with us for so long. They're one of the earliest domesticated creatures. They used to help us hunt. Like, almost every other culture in the world has got a really big link with dogs. And just the way that they treat them there, it's really upsetting.
It's funny. I guess your dad was in India and he was driving behind Guy. And that's why that dog met its maker.
No, he loves dogs.
Oh.
It's just cats.
It's just cats.
Yeah.
Garrett's dad will go out of his way while driving and swerve and try to kill cats. So I figured.
Oh, well, fuck cats.
Yeah, see, Guy's right. Fuck cats.
How do they treat cats in India? Is it the same as dogs?
So there aren't a lot of cats, primarily because there are so many stray dogs, and a lot of the stray dogs are hungry. I had a chat with Animal Aid about this. So there's a few other places that run like it. And they're in this constant flux of, because they take in stray dogs. And whenever they take a stray dog in, they spay or neuter them because dogs are massively overpopulated. So they do what they can to control it. And they know when they're starting to have a positive effect on the dog population, because the cat population suddenly explodes, and then they get loads of injured cats coming in, and they get so busy with the cats, and cats come everywhere, that the dogs start to really succeed. So this happens for a few months, and then it switches again, and then they get loads of dogs in again. But cats aren't really looked at in the same way. You don't see a lot of cats out there.
Do people have pets?
So rich Indians will have dogs, but they have like thoroughbred dogs. So they either have German Shepherds are really big there. People doing well for themselves will have a pet German Shepherd. Most of the street dogs, the mongrels, are community dogs. So Jono and Yasmin's house outside the front, they had a family of dogs that lived there that I would go out and feed and play with most mornings. And they had two dogs that one lived in their house permanently, and one was a street dog that would come and hang out during the day and then go off and do his own thing. He was Pabu. He was a really cool dog. Pets is like one of those things that a rich person could afford, a relatively rich person, because most people are struggling to feed themselves and their family.
Right. So how they're gonna feed a cat that your dad's going over.
It is a status symbol to have a pet dog out there. Is like to say to the world, "I'm doing well. Look, I've got a pet dog."
Yeah. Now they don't care much about dogs. They'll run over a little puppy with their cars. They don't give a shit about cats. Why do they treat rats so well?
So this is from the Rat Temple, which is I think the town is called Binar or Binkar. So they have a temple on the just south of the city, and the whole place. I think there's another photo where you can see a bit more. I didn't get a lot of footage, but there are thousands of rats there, and they put out bowls of milk to feed them. So the rats are just constantly breeding. There's also some of those rats in that picture are dead. There's dead rats everywhere, which the other rats are eating. And the story that the Indians have is there was this, I think he's a prince who fell in love with this girl and he got cursed and he got turned into a rat. So there's white rats that run around the temple. And if you see the white rat, you've seen the prince. Now, I imagine they have a couple of spare white rats that every now and then the priests release on a special occasion because everything's a scam. But yeah, that whole place is just strewn with rats and rat shit. And yeah, it smelled bad as well. And there's people serving food right outside, obviously. So yeah, I mean, places like that, like as much as it's weird, I kind of found it cool. I like animal temples, but and the rats are so used to people, they're not bothered by you being there.
Did you take the milk?
Yeah, that's just a big trough of sour milk that the priests come and fill up, and the rats drink from.
I want to pour some cereal in there and have a bowl.
You think they clean up the rat shit daily just to make sure it
totally.
stays clean?
Garrett, they don't clean up their own shit. They clean up mouse poop. That fucking see how everything's brown? Everything's just got mouse shit caked onto it. Look at these like blotches on the metal. That's got to be poop.
Oh God.
Yeah, the whole place is just covered in rat shit, like all over.
It's kind of amazing though that they're able to
survive.
Millions of rats, and they're serving food with the rats, and nobody gets sick. Nobody gets the bubonic plague. It's kind of incredible.
You say no one gets sick, but the thing is, the general health in India is terrible. So they don't have a health system. And I thought I was going to lose weight when I first got there. When I did a month in Rajasthan, I ended up staying there much longer than I had to for some boring reasons. I had to wait for equipment and things. But everything in Rajasthan, which is a desert region, is either fried or covered in sugar, or it's fried in sugar. So I put on like a stone, which is like some kilos. I can't quite work out right now. 14 pounds. That's what a stone is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put on like 14 pounds in the first month that I was there because just the food is like not very good for you. And I looked it up online. It's estimated that 1 in 10 people in India has diabetes, but you can't quantify it well enough because it's so hard to form a census on the country that's so overpopulated and so unregulated. So it's probably more. And you know, you see people with goiters and like all sorts of horrible skin ailments. There's loads of people with like fingers missing, terrible scars because they're in accidents constantly because there's no concept of health and safety. And people, like I say, people don't give a shit when people get hurt or when an accident happens. I had a go at a guy who I was in Udaipur. I was riding back to where I was staying. And there was 2 bikes in front of me, and a bike went into the back of another bike, which had this old guy on the back of it. And the old dude fell off. Like, he must have been in his 60s or 70s. And he's come crashing to the floor. Now, I've got some medical training, so whenever I see something like that, I stop and check on people. So I stopped and I started checking the guy. And the guy who crashed into him just stood there for a second and went, "Oh, he's okay," and then went to ride off on his bike. He was a young guy. And I just grabbed him. I was like, no, mate, where are you going? He went, "Oh, he's okay." I was like, no. You crashed into him. You stay here until you know he's okay. You don't just look at him and go, meh. Like, but that's again, like I don't want to be particularly harsh on the country, but that's what they think. That's how they act. And yeah, it gets so frustrating to see how fragile everything is there. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Sorry, carry on.
Here in America, I want to say not most, but a lot of our doctors are Indian.
It's true.
Do they have good health care or hospitals there, or
for wealthy people? But that's why. So the people who travel from India and emigrate tend to be doing well enough that they can, or at least have family members that can get them out into the country. So the medical service in England, the NHS, has a lot of Indian doctors. A lot of them are very good doctors. I've had several Indian doctors, but this is something that, again, it's one of those things that feels uncomfortable to say, but the people who I got the most friendly with there and got on with the best were the people who had traveled and experienced other parts of the world and seen that it could be better and were coming back home and trying to make things better. So Niraj, who's he's been in a couple of my videos, is a guy who I met in Udaipur. He was in the Merchant Navy for 13 years. Really great guy, but he had become more cultured and worldly wise through travel. And he had 2 young lads who were working with him. And he was not only teaching them mechanics, but he was trying to teach them sort of a better way to behave with people and like just get them into the idea of keeping the place clean and being polite to people and giving people their space and interacting with people properly. And it's like, it's really easy to say that when you come from a Western mindset and you see the world a certain way and you're dealing with people who've never seen it like that. But most of the people who I met who had traveled were like, that's a much better way to react with people. That is how people should behave, and that's how people should talk.
So pretty much we stole all the good Indian doctors. And
it's like the other, like the tech jobs, like the second you have something that can be used in another country, especially like I was saying, it's people that have money that they can leave the country.
Yeah.
You get the fuck out. You get out of street shit land and you go live places that you know, like, oh, this is, you know, utopia compared to.
Yeah, people are polite or give you your space or
or you just
get used to it too.
Yeah.
This is what I didn't understand about any expatriates in the company. So Jono and Yasmin, the people I'm working for, they were from New Zealand and they've moved to India. And I've never been to New Zealand. But I've seen it on the telly. It looks fucking lovely. I would love to go to New Zealand. And I can't imagine coming from New Zealand, being in, they're very spiritual people, so they're into that side of thing. But I can't imagine having that mindset and going, wow, this is lovely. This is what I want.
I'm from heaven. I'd like to go live in hell.
Yeah, man. Like I say, there's so many parts of me. When I first went out there, and this is what so many other people I know have said, like I tried to go with an open mindset. For the first 3 weeks, I was like, look, it's a different culture. Try and be understanding of things. Try and be accepting of things. And I really, really did try. But the best way I can say it is it's the most exhausting country I've ever been to. You're constantly harassed. You're constantly run down. You're constantly nearly dying on the road. So by the time something bad happens over there that pisses you off, that would just be mildly annoying back home, it's like you've hit the breaking point because it's the 50th fucking thing that's happened that day that you're so pissed off about.
Do you run into any snake charmers?
No, I didn't see any of them. I really hoped that I would as well. In fact, there's been a popular video going around recently. It's an Indian comedian. Do you know the Cobra story? So back when the British were first there and trying to colonize the place, they had this problem of all the soldiers being bit by cobras, and there were just cobras everywhere. So the British put a bounty out on cobras, and they would pay Indians to hand them in dead cobras. And instead of less cobras coming in over time, more cobras came in over time.
I have heard
and what they found out was happening was all these Indians had set up cobra breeding farms in their houses, and they were just breeding shitloads of cobras and killing them and handing them into the English.
Once again, for the quadrillionth time, you set up a thing that will actually help everyone, but instead of just doing it the proper way, they figure out a way to make everything way worse. And just
that's it. It's not new. It's all short-term games. But this is the other thing that's bizarre about the place. So they clearly have a history and a culture. I went to some of these. I went to a place called Kumbhagar Fort, which has the second biggest continuous wall in the world. The only thing that's bigger than it is the Great Wall of China. It's this amazing fort on top of a hill in the middle of this big mountainous region. It's the only fort in India that never got invaded, and I'll tell you something about that in a second. And inside the fort, there's farmland, there's natural springs. You could hold off the world. You could wait out an invasion. For years, people could siege this place and not get in. And it's beautifully constructed, and so much thought and care has gone into it. So there's clearly a part of their culture where, like, they clearly had great thinkers and architects and builders and all this stuff. And you see it now, and it's just like, how did this happen? The reason that Kumbhagar, oh, there you go. The reason that Kumbagar was never invaded was not just because of its strong strategic position. All the other forts got invaded because they had a different word for them then, but the Muslims essentially bribed the gate guards to let them in. So they would sit outside the gates for 6 months or whatever. They'd negotiate with the gate guards every day, and then eventually one day they'd say, "Look, we'll give you this much gold, this much land. Open the gates for us," and then they'd storm the forts. We went to Chittagora, which 3 times in its history got invaded by the Islamic forces that came in. And 3 times in its history, all the women in the fort threw themselves into the well of fire where they had a constant fire at the center of the fort rather than be captured. And there's a big mural to them there, which says quite a lot about the potential invaders, how bad their life would have get, that they'd rather jump into a well of fire. But that's what it's known for. It's known for these women making this giant sacrifice because they kept on getting invaded.
Typical women being dramatic. So rather throw themselves into a well of fire and just meet new people, have a good time. Yeah, totally. Before we wrap up, because we've already had you for 2 hours, you sent me a bunch of videos, and I want to at least go through a couple of them because all your videos are always excellent.
Well, thank you.
Now that we have you here, I want you to comment on them. There's one here you sent me, human decorations.
Oh yeah, so I'll give you some context before you play it. Some friends of mine from England actually turned up while I was there. Wicked people. I know them through the festival circuit. And they were in town for a while, and they said, "Oh, come out with us and the kids." So we went on a boat ride around Udaipur Lake, and there is an island on the center of the lake which has this palace in it, which it costs, I think it's something ridiculous like 100 grand of our money to hire it out for a night. And there was a wedding going on there. So what they have, like, weddings in India are insane, and I was there in wedding season, but they had statues of elephants on the outskirts of this island, and they paid guys to sit on the elephants in ceremonial dress and hold spears. So they had literal human decorations at their wedding.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like it's in the top cost us a tenner just for looking at it. So much money.
Oh, there
Yeah,
you
these
go.
guys.
Oh God.
So those are just real people.
They're
have to
real
sit there
people.
all night at a wedding. They didn't even treat the elephants as poorly as they treat the human fucking jingle balls. That's fucking great. Well, I want that for. Well, I already had my wedding. I'm gonna redo my wedding, and I want to hire these people.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah. I want one guy
But
to just be part
They
of
probably
it.
got about 1,000 rupees for that, which is about $12. So there's 3 of them. If you've got a spare $36, you've got them.
It sounds bad, but if you think about it, that's kind of a sweet gig. They're sitting.
Yeah.
So really, all they got is like, oh, I just got to sit here for a few hours.
It doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather
out in India, yeah, absolutely. But this is kind of my point again about the finances. It's like, if you've got a bit of cash, you can hire a guy to sit around on an elephant, like, because they all need the money as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you can hire anybody to do anything. It's like, if you have money, you could just own people there.
Now I wonder, like, we have billionaires here, but their money is worth so little. Do they have like trillionaires in rupees or whatever?
Oh yeah, all the money is in a very small group of people. So the wealthy people there are incredibly wealthy. And like I say, there's a small emerging working class. Bob, who like I say, I'm in his workshop. He went out to India and worked there for a bit with a motorcycle factory, and he's a motorcycle engineer and concept designer. All the staff for the factory that did all the menial jobs were young kids, and they would sleep outside the factory gates so that they could be the first in for work in the morning. And they had to pay them daily, because if they paid them weekly, they would go, "Oh, I'm a rich man now," and they just fuck off and not turn up for work the next day.
Makes sense.
Yep.
It seemed like you just kind of live by moment to moment.
Yep.
There's no plan for a future unless you're, rich. The next video I have here, I'm very curious because of the title. It just says Uno Reverse.
Oh yeah, that's Just play it. It's the guy from who made that Instagram video earlier.
Okay.
Garrett, Steve, I've got something for you. We're gonna learn. What is it? A cash?
Akash is Badwa.
A cash is Budwa. I assume it's a cash is an idiot.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it's happening. We've got other people doing it.
That's you calling his friend an idiot?
I was calling his friend an idiot. He was the guy who found out about Gino is gay and wanted to be in a video. He ran up to me after I got on stage. He was like, "I want to say Gino is gay." Like, there's lots of videos I didn't actually get to make for you guys, and part of it I feel bad about this because I was literally, when I left the country, I did 3 days in Delhi, and I was so depressed I only went to get out of the hotel to go and get food. But I wanted to go around and video Indian guys saying all the names from your board and make a board song of Indian guys saying. And I feel terrible telling you about this because I didn't get it done. But that was my plan for Delhi. But I got into Delhi and I was just like, I just need to sit here for 72 hours and then I can get on a plane and I can get the fuck out of this country.
You can hear an Indian guy say boob turd.
That would have been the best things ever. Steve's ass.
I know. I'm so sorry that I've even brought it up and also robbed you of that experience. But yeah, I couldn't do it, man. I was so done.
It hurts my hearts. Maybe we can figure out a way to get it done anyway. I can go on like a Fiverr or Cameo India, and just pay $5 to have an Indian guy just
10
read.
10 cents probably.
Well, I'm sure if I respond to some of my DMs from random Indian guys, I might be able to get it done.
Please, it would really make our lives. We have a couple of super chats for you.
I would love to hang around for some super chats.
And after we read those, we'll finally let you take a go to
bed. Yeah.
No, it's like, honestly, it's 3 a.m. here, but I've had a wicked time. I really appreciate you playing my videos, and as I say, it gave me something to focus on that was positive. Like, I wish it was just all fun and games, but it was like, this is pissing me off. I'm going to make a video for Garrett and Steve so I can actually make this something fun for me.
It's all winning for us. It's all fun and games because, like, even hearing about how awful everything is, it's for some reason makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I don't even know, but so, like, really appreciate everything you've done for us. I'm glad.
No, like I say, thank you, man. I hope I get a few people from my stuff over to you guys as well.
What is your Patreon, just for everyone listening?
The Patreon is I am Guy Markham. Just on Patreon, it's because I'm an idiot. I set it up on the American site, so all the prices are in dollars. And I've just released my first YouTube video, which I don't know if people will be into it. It's a short series about me and a friend who are restoring a motorcycle, but we try and be a bit silly with it, but it's mostly about building bikes. But if people are into it, head over to the page, like, subscribe, all of that good social media stuff. Because as I say, like, I've been doing this for 1.5 years now. I've got over 80,000 followers on Instagram. I have no idea how to make money out of it. But if people enjoy my stuff and like what I do, fucking wicked. If they want to support it in any way, I'd love that.
Yeah, go support.
I've already got a few of your guys on my Patreon.
Nice.
Awesome. Please, at I am Guy Markham. Here's one from Bob Fana Patrice. He says, "Thanks for going to India so we don't have to."
Yep, pretty much.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Cents per mile. I bet Guy could have pulled all the slice over there. I mean, yeah, it sounds like you were actually fending off pussy.
It was mostly male attention, but yeah, every now and then when girls did approach me, I got rid of them pretty quickly.
Next question was in the same vein. Fitzy. Hey, Fitzy. Yo, Guy, did you do any fucking? How much would it be?
No, so when I came home, I went to see a nice lady who I'm very good friends with, and I spent 3 days enjoying myself to get over the 3 months of not enjoying myself.
Yeah, are there prostitutes there? Or
yeah, quite. Some of them are quite aggressive, and some of them are men. Like trans is a big thing over there. It's not quite the same as it is in the Western world, but Yeah. But again, like I was just I'm so not into that side of it. But yeah, it never even would have crossed my mind. I think I'd have to be there for years before I considered it.
I just picture trans people over there as, again, it's not even like they have gender dysphoria, any shit like that. It's just another scam. It's like, look, I'm a lady. You want to fuck? Want to fuck on me? I give you a lady fuck. $5.
Right in back hole.
I give you big time lady fuck. 10 rupee. You put in whatever hole. You only have one hole. Do it.
Well, I thought for a while that they had a very big like gay scene there, but what it is it's such a male-dominated culture because almost all of the women just stay inside constantly. It's like men everywhere. Men run all the shops. Men work everywhere. I've never been around so many men, but friends like boyfriends in India are all very physical with each other. They walk down the street holding hands, and they're all hugging each other the whole time. And yeah, I just assumed they were gay guys. And then someone said to me, "It's like, no, that's normal here. That's how Indian guys are with each other."
Yeah, they just fuck each other for fun.
Another horrible.
I think there might be a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, you gotta hold hands and touch them.
If you've grown up with like loads of brothers sleeping in the same bed, you know what it's like when you're a teenager. I'm sure they're fairly used to certain things.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, they just push up sandwich for fun.
A lot of push up sandwiches.
All right, and Gabe here, just with the to cap us off. I bet India had you screaming though.
By the way, I have like this is how much that you guys have infected my brain. Not only in India did I just keep on working around doing the India Steve voice, just going, "Hello, cow, how are you doing?" and saying things like that. But now, for the last 2 weeks, I've been walking around going, "I hate the phone." Every time I pick up the fucking phone.
We almost forgot to talk about Yetzer Hara traps. I hate it's a marvel of modern ingenuity.
India is a Yetzer Hara trap.
The whole country is a big Yetzer. That's a good question. Did you see a single Jewish person in India?
Yes, because the Israelis go there to trade precious metals and diamonds. So in the busier areas like Pushkar, you can get really good Israeli food and really good Italian food because after the Second or First World War, all the Israelis went there to trade gold and precious gems, and all the Italians went there to trade fabrics. So most of the Italian tailors source all of their gear from India and then get it sent back home. So when the guys would go there and trade, they'd say to them, it's like, right, you need to learn how to make pizza. You need to learn how to make, you know, the Israelis would ask for pita and hummus, falafel, all of that stuff. A guy called Mango, who I made friends with, has a restaurant. Honestly, one of the best pizzas I'd ever fucking had. He's got a traditional wood-fired pizza oven, and he's an Indian guy who speaks Spanish and wears a cowboy hat. He's wicked.
He's just a jumble of everything, making pizza and speaking Spanish with a Western cowboy hat. That sounds awesome, though. I want to face that guy in a pizza making contest. Bet I whoop his ass.
Well, if you change your minds and I do take you to India, I will take you for the best pizza in India. but I don't know if that's going to make everything else worthwhile.
That's all I want.
I want to go.
I'm going to India for 1 day. I'll be in and out. I'm going to have a slice of pizza and then I'm getting back on the plane and going home after the fucking 15 or 24-hour flight.
Yeah, right. God.
But oh, here we go. A filthy farmer, just saying hi. Super sticker. Thank you, Mr. Filth. And Bob Fana Patrice with the last question of the night. Guy, if you had to drop just one massive bomb, where would it be?
I don't think the location is important. I think the contents. I don't think you should like nuke India or anything. I think what you should do is create a bomb that just had a load of sanitizer in it. Like just whatever you use. I mean, here we have Sillet Bang and Mr. Muscle, just a shitload of that, and just like it's a start. Just try and clean that country a little bit.
A bleach bomb, yeah. Just try to clean up as whatever you.
I mean, no, I'm not heartless. I don't want to harm anyone. I just want them to fucking like. I just want them to look after their country. It's a beautiful country. It has the potential to be an amazing place. It's just ruined by, I hate to say it, the people there. Like, and again, I open the show with it, and I want to finish the show with it and bookend with it. I met some lovely people there. I saw some amazing things. I can't say the whole experience was negative, and I'm so grateful that I got to have that experience. I just wish there wasn't so much shit stuff that went along with it.
Ugh. Well, thanks for going and sending us all the videos and giving us a recap and everything.
Thank you for being the Garrett and Steve Indian correspondent.
Yeah.
That really.
Well, thank you guys. And look, if I ever go to another shithole, I will be your correspondent for that country as well.
Yeah, that was my final question. Was what's the next destination? Do you have any in mind?
Oh, actually, I've got something really cool coming up, which I will also be putting out on YouTube. I'm working with a guy called Austin Vince, who is a very big name in the world of adventure motorcycling. He's ridden around the world twice. He's ridden bikes to the center of Sahara. He's a very big traveler. He's a very posh, eccentric British character. He even said to me, because he's a very big internationalist, and I got home and I was almost a bit worried about telling him that I'd had a bad time in India. And he turned around to me and went, I've been to pretty much every country in the world, and I have to say there is not a lot that would get me back to India. The whole place is covered in shit. And I was like, oh, thank fuck, I could be honest with him. But I'm doing a trail riding orienteering exercise with him in Spain, where we go out on dirt bikes and we ride through the Spanish mountains and collect geotags. He's been making this event for 10 years now. If people are interested, go to my Instagram or go to Austin Vince. It's an international event if you can make it there, if you're into motorbikes. And it's where a lot of the spaghetti westerns were shot. So we're going to some filming locations from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You know the big scene at the end where they have the three-way duel, Sad Tree Graveyard or Hanging Tree Graveyard, whatever it's called. So yeah, we're going to all of those places in the Spanish mountains, and yeah, just riding dirt bikes and having a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. But beyond that, just fixing bikes and trying to be funny about it on Instagram.
Bob Vanna Patrice suggests New Jersey.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm desperate to get back to America. I love your country, and the way that free speech is going in this country, I'm pretty keen to get out of here. So yeah, if I can find a way, if you know any nice single American ladies that are looking for a big strong Englishman who's got a motorbike, what's Luby doing these days? Like, hook us up, let me get a green card.
Yeah, I think that's a good. There's a good chance of that happening.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
I think she's single, or maybe
no, I mean like citizen, or is she still a visa?
Yeah, that's important. Don't get me wrong, she's lovely, but I need to have the paperwork sorted.
Yeah, that won't help then. Yeah,
Yeah.
you needed a purebred American.
I'll keep an ear to the ground for any
But yeah,
purebred.
seriously, guys, this has been an absolute pleasure, and honestly, I hope we get to do this in person at some point, because I'm genuinely a big fan of your show. I love what you're doing, and I wish you all the success in the world with it.
Yeah,
we loved anytime we get to talk to you. And yeah, next time you're in America, please let us know. You're absolutely invited.
Yeah, I have a couch you're probably too big to sleep on. If you feel like curling up, you have a free place to stay.
Oh, very kind of you, boys. Well, with any luck, once I can finally make some financial sense out of social media, I might be able to take you up on that offer one day.
Awesome. Thanks, Guy.
Yeah, follow him at I am Guy Markham. Go on Patreon at I am Guy Markham and support Guy.
Yeah, please.
So maybe we can get something going. We can send you back to India.
I tell you what, you know what? Just before we sign off, if you could get enough people to go back, purely because I was in a bit of a guilty situation with working for someone else out there, so I had to hold my tongue a lot of the times when I was there. If I went there under Garrett and Steve Productions with money funded from the Garrett and Steve audience, I could just fund myself to go to some real shitholes and get you some more content. So I'd be more than happy to take that on.
Awesome.
I would just want you to have a GoPro strapped to your head. And I'd be like, all right, just go through the worst parts of town where everyone's aggressive and a jerk off and just shove everyone. Just go around shoving people. And that's your whole trip. That's all you do.
For you guys, anything.
Awesome.
All right,
Thanks,
boys.
guy.
Well, I'll say goodbye to you now so you can sign off, do your board song or anything. But yeah, absolute pleasure. Hope we get to do it again sometime.
Awesome,
Later,
man.
buddy.
Good hearing
Cheers,
from you.
boys. See you soon.
See ya.
Oh,
Wow.
what a wonderful,
I'm
wonderful
gonna
recap.
Take a guess that he's not going to be doing any tours in India by himself anymore.
Not unless we can send him.
Yeah.
He'll go back.
No, but I mean, he was sent there to like make a tour and take people on.
Right, and make it like a regular recurring
Yeah.
gig. But it sounds like it's not so much like, oh, he can't get the support from the company. It sounds like he don't want to fucking go back there. And I don't fucking blame him. The fact that he went at all, I think, was like wild. It's like, I can understand visiting for a week or two to get a little bit of the lay of the land and be like, oh, do I even want to work here?
Yeah.
But he was there for fucking months.
Yeah, what was it? 3 months, 4 months?
just surrounded constantly by people who are just annoying the fucking shit out of him every day. Either with, and it's just the worst version of everything. They're
Everything.
aggressively polite but annoying on the streets, but then when you're on the road with them, they're road rage, like antagonistically awful fucking assholes on the road. It's just every fucking worst possible variation of what something could be is what they do in India.
Yeah.
It's incredibly
It doesn't
shitty.
even sound like he could make a tour where it just avoids every crowded area. 'Cause
How?
You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just he just goes from desert to desert. Like, all right, here's somewhere we can piss and shit in peace. There isn't already. We saw the picture, the like the beginning of the Ganges River, that mountain seemed like the
Yeah.
only nice, peaceful, clean, not covered in human dog shit place.
But he did say if you just look to the left, there's garbage there.
And then there's even there's garbage. Bob Fanta Patrice says, we love Guy.
We do love
Agreed.
Guy. Thank you.
We love Guy. And I'd love to have him here in the US because we met him at Compound. He's a very fun guy to hang
He
out
was,
with.
yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
I think that's all the time we have for today. Let's play a little ditty for our board members, written, performed, and produced by the one and only Fitzy Fitzgerald.
Fitzy Fitzgerald.
We appreciate our board members.
Yes.
And here's just a little symbol of that.
Caitlin Kant, Mama Reno, Edie Cunty, Nick Giordano, Charlie Chicago, Deadpool, Jeremy Stock, Marshall Bow, Pre, the Moose Pete, Fitzy, Dominic, Riccatelli, Josh Words, Mike Ligayo, Mitchell, Chris Berg, Jimmy Z, Ganna, Gecko Dundee, Daniel Mundy, Gay Bitches, Connor Beck, Jeff Dodge, Jones 7-3, Michael Malice, Curtis John, William Yoder, Brian, Kate, Gah, Jeffrey the Giraffe, Stan Turner, 9X Support, Matt Bugatti, Asia S. Thompson, Old Youngie Bob, Fan of Patrice, Doogie 7626, Justin Ford, Garrett J, Thomas, Larry F. Boob, Turk, Angelo, Mark, Doug, Gratz, Liz, Cynthia, Jersey, Just, Eric, Leister, Mass, Lucy, Clara, Rocky Pantozi, Jose Delgado, Jay, Stu's, Cluster, Payne, Jam Man, Jay, Nate, Gina, Marie, Beverly, Jay, Quan, G, Johnny, Heather, The Hooker, Zoe, Nathan, Mardukas, AJR, Michael J, Burnsy, and Harold Pooh's Channel 666, Lindsay, Sabadoo, Steve's Assness, Jigger Nets, Aaron Kraft, Vinny Cash. These people paid $100.
Yeah, you missed
I did it.
You know what I fucking forgot to ask him? No, he didn't do this, but I just think it would be funny if you're in a country like India where the N-word isn't a thing. You just walk around calling everyone the N-word.
What's up?
Because, it wouldn't offend anyone.
No,
they don't even know what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
Just be a funny thing to do. That should have been his videos. That's when we fund Guy's next trip to India. He's going to be doing two things. He's just going to be walking around crowds of people, shoving them and calling them the N-word.
We should send Anthony to do that. It's heaven.
They're fucking all swarming around him trying to get a picture, and he's just shoving it. N-word, N-word, N-word. It's just like, living GTA. Like, just go around and do whatever the fuck you want. Especially in the towns he was talking about where there's no police.
Cops, yeah.
Just, fuck, I can do whatever I want.
Can't wait.
Yep, can't wait to send him back to India. I can't. Would you ever actually go? Because maybe when I was younger and single and didn't give a shit about anything, I would go just to do it and see if I could survive the fucking parasites.
So used to my creature comforts and stuff. Like, it just seems like it's uncomfortable the whole time. And
like the whole time, I'm like, when the fuck am I going home? I get the fuck out of here. This place literally stinks. And it's like a two-way stink. It's either the people and everything smells like shit and curry and food and shit.
Yeah.
Or like when I was in AC and we got on the elevator with like 4 Indian people, they stunk up the fucking elevator like crazy.
Yeah.
But not of BO or poo or anything. They all were just wearing a shit ton of cologne.
Oh.
So like because they were American Indians people. Like, so they were overcompensating for this obvious reputation they have on the internet for smelling like dog shit. And they just it was like being in a Macy's cologne set. Like, it was overbearing the amount of fucking cologne they were wearing.
Oh God. Was it all guys?
It was 2 guys and 2 girls.
Wow.
It didn't smell like perfume. It smelled like fucking Dolce & Gabbana.
Ricard Noir.
Yeah. And it was just too much. So there's just it's a whole country where there's just not any place other than in the mountains, I guess, where it doesn't stink in some form or fashion. There's a smell, a noise, something assaulting your fucking senses. Good for Guy. It sounds like he had a wonderful,
it did.
eye-opening,
He really loved it.
I'm never going back to this fucking place trip.
At least he did it. You can say he did it and he'll never go back. More than I will ever do, probably.
More than likely. More than either of us will ever do. Because, it's not something on my bucket list.
No.
Even with my what I would say unhealthy obsession with the country. And, that's what we forgot to ask. If you saw any comedy games.
I was thinking about it, but I'm sure he would have brought it up.
He probably would have immediately brought it up, yeah. Well, all right.
All right.
Thank you all for watching.
Tomorrow.
The Garrett and Steve India experience.
We love you.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.